Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. How do we get started before 6, Vic?
I don't know. That's a good question. We're right at 6.
Wildness.
Yeah.
5:59, and I'm yelling. I mean, who's awake for that? It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1. I'm your old pal, AJ, joined as always. Let's throw the camera to him, the one and only Mr. Rob Thompson. Good morning, Rob. Rob.
Where is he?
Rob?
Nothing.
Is his microphone off?
No.
It's on. I see it.
It's on, yeah.
There's no one in Rob's seat, Vic.
I think he's asleep. Is he in the car?
That's weird. Oh, no. You see, last night, when I was out, I was grinding last night. I was out at the national championship game. I got some post-game sound even. I was, in the press conferences. I'm just like, I said, you know what? I'm going to work so hard for the people. I'm going to get as much.
Right.
I'm going to talk to Kelvin Sampson. I'm going to get as much insight as I can about what happened and how. And you know what time I got home, Vic?
What time?
12:15.
And you're here now?
How'd that happen?
I don't know. Yeah.
How is it possible? I was home at 12:15.
Okay.
I have a 3:45 wake up call.
And you're wide awake and you're here.
I still made it. I'm a soldier. Man, I'm a soldier.
Got to have those hero songs lined up for you all day.
We maybe should.
I think we should do that.
Also, on top of that, my knee hurts really bad. I think I'm dealing with some tendonitis.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but you know what? I said, well, what am I going to do?
Don't go to the doctor. They're going to take your kidney. Find something wrong with it.
I know. I said, well, what option do I have? The people need a show.
Yeah.
They need it. I said, well, there is no option. There's no choice. I've got to go.
You got to go.
I've got to go to work. So I get up and I start dragging myself around my apartment. I'm trying to, I'm limping. I got a bad knee. My cat's meowing, starving.
You have it wrapped with ice and an ace bandage and stuff
God.
like that?
I mean, actually, no. I actually had a saw out. I was planning on amputating. But then I was like, I got to go to work. And then I get a ding. It's a text.
Aha!
What could it be?
Is it Edwin? No.
No.
Is it me?
No. It's not you.
It's not me.
3:48 a.m. I'm out today. Still feeling lousy. You know who that came from? Not Edwin. Not you. Not me.
Famous James?
No. He's here.
Rob.
It came from Rob Thompson.
Wow.
Came from Rob Thompson.
And I didn't even get a text.
Yesterday, I was so proud of him for playing the flu game. He had his flu show yesterday.
Yeah.
He fought, and you could tell he was miserable. He laid his head down.
Yeah,
between segments.
The shoes and shirt he had on yesterday are worth money.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes. Yeah. I'm gonna cut it up into little patches and sell them. And
yeah. Trade them for cards.
Yes. Yes. I'm gonna trade radio cards for hockey and football cards. That's my big goal. But today Rob couldn't make it. Rob didn't even show up for the game last night for the national championship game.
And that's how you knew.
And
I know it's like you can't miss that, and he did. But
Minix and I discussed it. Dax and I discussed it. I said, "Yeah, I'm ready. I got a feeling it's the AJ and Vic show tomorrow."
Yeah.
And
with the sniffles.
And here we are. Poor Rob. All sick.
Yeah, he's sick.
Oh no. What's the matter, Rob? Oh, feel good, AJ. Oh, think I'm gonna come to work today. What do you mean, Rob? We always gotta go to work.
Yeah.
That's how we make money and pay the bills. That's how we keep our audience happy. I don't care about the audience. I only care about my sniffles. they'll be fine without me. Rob, I don't think they'll be fine. They're going to be sad. I don't care if they're sad. I don't feel good. And here we are.
And here we are.
And here we are. Just me and Vic. I said, oh, you know what would be so great? If we could have breakfast tacos today.
I know, but Edwin's not here.
Edwin's not here. He's probably got the sniffles, too.
Yeah, he was feeling sick. So
See,
it is going around. I got rid of mine. I had mine, 2 weeks ago? So
everyone's got the itis. Except me. I have a very, very strong immune system.
Yeah, you had more shots than me in the Army.
Yeah.
That's probably what it was.
I was prepared. I was prepared to go to West Africa.
Yeah. And everything over there.
Sudan and the Philippines and everywhere. I was ready. I was ready. If World War III broke out and it was only happening in Madagascar, in a place where there are a certain kind of bee that could it could swell you up real bad, I would have been ready because I was inoculated for that.
Yeah, see, you were prepared.
That's right. That bee wouldn't have stopped me. He would have only stopped the Madagascarans.
Yeah.
But I didn't have to go to Madagascar. I never got stung by that bee. But if I ever do, I'll be grateful. Thank you, U.S. government.
Mm-hmm.
Well, luckily, there is some stuff to talk about, friends. There's a little bit we can get into.
It's a sad day.
Oh, man. Oh, man. I don't even know where to begin. That was a roller coaster of emotions yesterday.
Yeah, before I turned off the game, there was Houston was up by 10 at least.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I got to go to bed, but
full control of the game. And I saw someone say this, and I in a way it's true, but I don't know if it makes Cougar fan feel any better. Houston shouldn't have lost that game last night.
Nope.
But they also probably shouldn't have won that game on Saturday. So maybe it's the way of the world evening out.
Yeah, it's the world telling you something.
But there's also, Florida should have lost to UConn. Florida should have lost to Texas Tech.
Right.
Florida should have lost to Houston. And they're getting to stand around holding a big fat trophy right now. So it doesn't seem life ain't fair, Bubba. That's what we know. Life ain't fair. And I think there's a lot of people like you, Vic, because the NCAA is so dumb that they want us to stay up to all hours of the night.
I know, right?
I don't understand. Like, what are we doing?
I was going to bed when the game started.
An 8 o'clock tip? What?
Yeah, I was already laying down, winding down on social media here and there. And
why?
The first score just tipped off. I'm going I don't know if I'll make it.
Why? I mean, imagine being a person who lives in Florida. You're a Gator fan in Florida.
That's 9 o'clock tip off?
Yeah, 8:54 or whatever it was, and then you're up until what time? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're up until damn near midnight.
Yeah, God forbid if there's overtimes. And
I know.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of too.
And the children have school.
Yeah, it's a school.
Think about the children in Florida.
That want to root for their team.
They already have to deal with living in Florida. It's like a video game. You got to dodge meth addicts and just crazy people and dudes who will sell you their nipple under a bridge. I mean, it's like...
Yeah, they got a lot to deal with out there. Yeah,
snakes and swamp monsters. It's gross. Hurricanes hitting all the time, and then they got to stay up until midnight to watch their team win a championship. It's garbage, NCAA. Get it together. You too, CBS. I know you wanted to, I don't know what you were playing, How I Met Your Mother or whatever crap you were playing before. I know what you guys were doing. You're trying to get in your whatever Granny's favorite show is. You were trying to get it in before the game tipped off, but it's rude to everyone else. It's rude. But you know what, Vic? Despite all that, I'm here.
You're here.
I'm here.
Yep.
We will discuss the game. We'll discuss the end game. We'll break down everything that went wrong for Houston, and kind of want to get some thoughts on if this was, if it was a disappointing ending. I don't know. I'm a little jaded because I lost money, and I was, with my heart, I was cheering for the Cougars. So it was a tough one for me to parse. Like, was it a good game? It was not a fun game to watch. It was ugly. I mean, it was a rock fight. But that's what Houston games typically are.
Yeah, I watched the highlights of the last seconds, and he didn't get the shot off.
Oh,
man! At least do that. At least do that and miss, right?
But, well, yeah. There's a lot of things you could have done that weren't that.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the things that led to that. Just so much to break down on this game. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. In good shape as you head out and about. 281 southbound from Basse to 35 right now. That's about a 5-minute ride. 35 northbound Loop 410 to 1604. That's about 5 minutes. On I-10 eastbound Loop 410 to 1604, 5-6-minute ride. And should take you about 10 minutes or so. 1604 northbound from 35 to 90. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Thomas J. Henry Injury Attorneys, available 24/7.
When it comes to results, the numbers speak for themselves. Thomas J. Henry secured over $1 billion for clients in the past 4 years and successfully represented thousands of injured Texans. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. San Antonio, Texas.
When it comes to vaccines, it's important to get the facts. The City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District understands that keeping your child safe is your top priority. Vaccines are safe and can help your child's immune system fight harmful germs. They protect against serious diseases and can even save lives. Because when it comes to your child's health, it's time to get real about vaccines and get the facts. Learn more at sa.gov/health. sa.gov/health.
Dr. Jacob Torres is my doctor, not just a weight loss physician, far more to that to me. In fact, I'll be headed over to his great storefront up about 11 o'clock today to go through physical therapy in preparation for something entirely different. That's why I enjoy the Institute for Functional Health, because the health part of that is key. They do everything required to keep their patients in the best health possible. And, of course, weight loss is a key part of that. So many of the things that we live with or have to deal with are because of the weight that we've added over many years. So many of us have had issues losing weight. Either we haven't tried or don't want to try or didn't feel like we would be successful after a failed attempt or two. If you're like me a couple years back, feeling tired all the time, not quite figuring out why I feel so bad, just know that I do. Maybe it's your weight. Go see Dr. Torres today. Let him explain to you how the dropping of a few pounds really causes more pounds to fall off, that a program that you can sustain with, that you can live with, can add years to your life. If it's time to lose weight, call him today. The number is 210-468-1891. Now, his website is an invaluable resource. It's iffhealth.com. Go there. Do your due diligence. Read through the site. Answer the questions he asks, and then call and talk to him. If it's time to lose weight, if you're ready to choose your life and take on a program that will be customized only for you, that while he's serviced and worked with thousands of patients, yours will be individual. Call him today and get him started, and you will find that you can lose weight a lot easier than you ever thought you would, and that seems to kind of snowball, you know. You'll change your life if you call Dr. Torres, and when you do, come on by and thank me later.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With a Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news to stats to placing bets in a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
If you've been waiting and waiting to get your eyes taken care of, tired of wearing those glasses, tired of wearing those contacts, what are you waiting for? Now is the time to get it done. At Manrique Custom Vision Center, Dr. Manrique prides himself in getting you out of those glasses or contacts with his blade and pain-free LASIK, which is totally safe and comfortable. It will give you the best possible vision, and you can throw out the glasses and contacts. They've got over 25 years of experience, and they've done over 72,000 laser vision corrections. They offer financing to all with up to 36 months interest-free. Give them a call today to set it up. 210-354-2020. Come and see the Manrique difference for yourself. Every patient benefits from a customized vision plan that they bring to life with state-of-the-art technology, a variety of options to help make your treatment an investment you can afford and the right people. Change your vision, change your life today. It's Manrique, 210-354-2020.
Here in Texas, we know that trust is earned and reputation matters. Since 1993, Thomas J. Henry dedicated himself to building a firm that injured clients can trust and that Texans can respect. A firm where no defendant is too big and no case is too small. Backed by a track record of success and a commitment to our clients, Thomas J. Henry remains the name you can depend on if you have been injured. Trust the firm that stands for you. Trust Thomas J. Henry. San Antonio, Texas.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Oh, wow, honey, I love it. It's so beautiful and so sparkly.
Just like you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
I'll wear it every day. It goes with everything.
This Mother's Day, wow Mom with spirit-lifting, outfit-making, express your love jewelry. Shop jtv.com/mom for wow-worthy and budget-friendly styles.
I'm never taking it off.
Another wow factor? Sign up for JTV Text and get $30 off. If she loves jewelry, she'll love JTV.
Progressive understands that bond between you and your boat. But imagine if something happened to it. Without the boat, you're just Tina with too much boat knowledge. Sure, it's helpful on the water, but with no boat, you're someone who talks way too much about knots, and no one cares what a jib is anyway. Boat Tina could get away with it because she has a boat. So make sure your boat is insured. Get Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer, and then go back to being you, Tina, who owns a boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, we have a national champion in college basketball. The Nets were cut down in the Alamo Dome.
Of course, we'll have all the reaction from last night in the Dome. The latest on the Cowboys in the NFL, Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk. She joins us at 5:15.
The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Morning Huddle 94.1. It's just AJ here, the man in the box.
Yeah.
I am the man in the box. Cover me in. Well, don't.
Don't, yeah.
Don't do that. The brutal loss last night for the Cougars. 65-63. I stuck around and got to listen to J1 Richards and LJ Cryer. LJ Cryer was not in the mood for talking after that game last night. That's a guy who has a championship. He won a ring at Baylor, and I think if you told him, like, would you trade that ring that you've got to get one with this team, I think he'd do it in a heartbeat, just because he was a sort of a bit player on that Baylor team, a freshman, and you could tell his heart and soul was in this team, and he was just devastated yesterday. Even though he played a phenomenal game, J1 did not play a phenomenal game. And you know what? Kelvin Sampson, to his credit, he didn't call out his players. You know, he's a guy who he appreciates what his players did to get him here, and he knows that this team was built for this moment. And even when you've got everything going your way, it doesn't always. That's the thing with sports. It doesn't always work out the way it's supposed to work out. But he even said, not getting a shot off that late, the last two possessions to have turnovers, it's just he called it incomprehensible. He talked about how J1 had a lot of looks at the basket that normally he would finish, and yesterday didn't finish. And he talked about Emmanuel Sharp, that the last play of the game where he goes up to shoot and realizes his shot's going to be blocked, so he just lets it go. And instead of there's a lot of options you could have had there. He said you got a pump fake there, but I think if anything, you've got to at least touch the ball, take your violation, and then foul. I don't know. There's a lot of things you could have done other than just stand there and let the clock tick out, certainly. But about as brutal of a finish to a championship game as I can remember, and a team that led the entire way. 64 seconds is how long Florida led the game yesterday. 64 seconds out of 40 minutes, and they walk away, with the trophy. And those Houston kids, they were just crushed at this thing, and rightfully so, man. This was the first time they led in the second half, came with 46 seconds left. Florida never led by more than 2 points the entire night. Houston controlled the game until the bitter end. And, Emmanuel Sharp was just inconsolable on the floor, in the locker room. And you could hear Sharp in the locker room every once in a while. He was saying naughty words that I can't say on the radio. He was saying that's on me, that I lost this, which is tough, man. And ask Kelvin what he said to Emmanuel Sharp, and just said, I told him I loved him. And he said, I really focused on the job that he did on defense. And, and obviously, Emmanuel Sharp was the guy who was his main task was to stop Walter Clayton Jr., who had been unstoppable. Walter Clayton Jr. had 2 points in the first half. Emmanuel Sharp did a fantastic job on defense, finished with 11 points, 3 of 10 shooting, but just not enough at the end of the day. And it's funny, Jose says Florida was playing against Houston and the refs and still won. I disagree with that completely. I will say this. The thing that frustrates me the most as a basketball viewer is when a standard for officiating gets set in the first half, and then the second half is called completely different. There were 4 fouls called in the first half. It was a very much a what that does is it essentially says this is the way the game's going to be officiated. This is that you're telling the players, you're telling the coaches, hey, we call 4 fouls in the first half. That's our way of letting you know we're letting you guys play. In the first 12 minutes of the second half, there were 16 fouls called. 16. 8 straight fouls called on the Cougars. You cannot, I mean, I say you cannot, they did. I think it's wrong to change the way you officiate a game halfway through it. And from the time Houston went down, or Houston got up double digits, again, I'm no conspiracy theorist, but the whistle came out and the game tightened up significantly. The game did not change physically. Houston was playing the same ball they were playing in the first half that they were playing in the second half. The whistle changed. I mean, there's no way to deny that. Like there was no fundamental change in the way the game was played. There was a fundamental change in the way the game was officiated, which is a bummer. But again, I don't think even Kelvin wasn't blaming. Kelvin didn't blame officiating. I didn't hear players blame officiating. It's just I thought it was notable. All right, we'll continue this discussion on the other side. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning, in good shape as you head out and about. 281 southbound from Basse to 35 right now. That's about a 5-minute ride. 35 northbound, Loop 410 to 1604. That's about 5 minutes. On I-10 eastbound, Loop 410 to 1604, 5-6-minute ride. And should take you about 10 minutes or so, 1604 northbound from 35 to 90. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-770-2727. 800-770-2727.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group. This report is sponsored by True Green. We're back in the miller's yard, who now use True Green. Their lawn started looking like a golf course, and PGA Tour golfers made it their favorite stop. Get a PGA Tour quality lawn for as little as $1 a day at TrueGreen.com. Exclusions apply. See TrueGreen.com for details.
The following is a dramatization.
Davis Law Firm. How can I help?
Hi, I got hurt in a wreck, but I don't know if it's really worth getting an attorney.
Don't worry. You called the right place.
I'm Jeff Davis. At Davis Law Firm, we're here for you 24/7, and you don't pay unless we win. We recently secured a jury verdict for $210 million in a wrongful death case. So if you've been hurt, call us at 444-4444.
Davis Law Firm, San Antonio.
Buying a home used to feel like a complete headache. Listings here, pre-approval there, financing somewhere else. Now, Rocket is giving every home one address. Rocket.com. A single seamless homeownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, and refinance your home. Everything you need, all under one roof. Visit Rocket.com, the new home for all things homeownership. Rocket. Own the dream.
Hey, fellow Gen Xers, it's Elizabeth Banks. Big news! The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the charge. After all, we gave the world the internet. We're trailblazers. Let's lead the way again, because we are at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Head to VaxAssist.com and schedule today. That's VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
With the Spurs out of the postseason, a way to make watching the playoffs more exciting is with Underdog. Jason Minix here from The Blitz. Love playing Underdog, one of the leading sports apps where you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Play the Pick'em game where you go higher or lower on predicted stats like points, assists, rebounds. Create your own entry and have a lot of fun. Download the Underdog app. Sign up now using the promo code STAR to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun with promo code STAR. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon your first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona. Present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
When spring is in the air, so are the savings during the Mow Less, Save More sales event at your local Aaron's dealer. We're celebrating the season with $100 off qualifying Icon zero-turn lawnmowers with special financing offers available. The Icon mows quickly, comfortably, and leaves a perfectly cut lawn every time. This spring, clean up with savings of $100 off on Aaron's Icon zero-turn during the Mow Less, Save More sales event. Restrictions apply. See your local dealer for details.
This ad is brought to you by Care for the Injured, which is not a law firm. Past results don't guarantee future outcomes. Recovery depends on case details. Did you or a loved one take the birth control shot Depo-Provera and later develop a brain tumor? You are not alone. Thousands of women in the U.S. have been affected and deserve compensation. Depo-Provera, a widely used birth control injection, has been linked to serious brain tumors like meningiomas. If you use Depo-Provera for at least a year and were diagnosed with a brain tumor, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Our network of attorneys fight for the rights of women like you, women who were never warned about the risk of birth control shots. Our caring legal team is standing by to help you get the justice and compensation you deserve. The sooner you call, the sooner we can begin working on your case. Call 800-298-5126 now for a free confidential case review. That's 800-298-5126. Call 800-298-5126.
Hunger striking, snack time calling, it's crunch time. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds brings you the boldest protein-packed crunch you can't resist with mouth-watering flavors like hot honey, sweet barbecue, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Why settle for chips when you can level up your snacking game? Plus, they're low-carb, high-protein, and made for adventurous appetites. Score big flavor today. Grab Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds at H-E-B.
Progressive understands that bond between you and your boat. But imagine if something happened to it. Without the boat, you're just Tina with too much boat knowledge. Sure, it's helpful on the water, but with no boat, you're someone who talks way too much about knots, and no one cares what a jib is anyway. Boat Tina could get away with it because she has a boat. So make sure your boat is insured. Get Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer, and then go back to being you, Tina, who owns a boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
This is Jason Minix from The Blitz, and you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
A lot of people argue that the best breed of dog is a lineage called the Rescue. They're right. That's why we're asking San Antonio Sports Star listeners to help no-kill rescue agencies around San Antonio with food that these pups need. They're all good dogs. They just need a chance. The voice of the National Dog Show, John O'Hurley, will join the Sports Star guys all day Friday, April 11th for the 2025 Puppy Food Bank Radiothon. Sponsored by Thomas J. Henry, the Institute for Functional Health, Big State Financial, G2 Shoes, Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat and AC, Ponderosa Ranch, Mr. W Fireworks, and Fifi and Fido's Pet Boutique. So lend a helping paw during the 2025 Puppy Food Bank Radiothon, Friday, April 11th, with 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
This is Joe Reinagle. You're listening to the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
All right, we are back on the Morning Huddle. No Rob today. R.I.P. Rob.
Yeah.
He'd have to be dead to miss this show, I would guess.
He probably feels that way too. He didn't look too good yesterday.
Jose, a lot of people disagreeing with Jose about the officiating on the Brigade Bar, and Jose says all of a sudden San Antonio are Houston fans. The hell with everything, Houston. I mean, listen, man. At some point, I'm cheering for Texas over Florida. I don't care what part of Texas it is. But
Texas team, come on.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? But secondly, it's also not really about who you're a fan of. It's about, dude, just didn't seem right the way that thing ended. But you know what? Some of it is on Houston. Like let's make no mistake. Like it's nuanced. There's part of it a lot of credit. Well, some credit goes to Florida. Here's a pretty wild stat as well about Florida, because you would think, oh wow, what a incredible finish for the Gators. Not really. Not really what you'd expect. Florida, while Houston had obviously a disastrous finish to this thing, it wasn't great for Florida. Florida's last field goal came with 3 minutes and 14 seconds left on the clock. It just so happened that UH finished with 4 straight turnovers. That's the big difference there. That was the first time all season long that the Cougars have had a turnover on 3 consecutive plays. Wow. Can you think of a worse time for it? I certainly can't. 0 shot attempts on those 3 plays. Just brutal. 3 of the worst possessions you could have with the game on the line, and Houston had them. Couple other numbers to consider after that game. There is still only one team from Texas who has won a national title since 1966. That is Baylor in 2021. Before that, the only other one ever was 1965, the Texas Western, which is now UTEP. They made a movie about that one. But it would have been nice to see Texas get their 3rd championship. Did not get it done. Couple other notes, other numbers that I found interesting in that one. This was the first time in history, first time in the last 20 years to finish their last 3 games of the NCAA tournament when trailing by 8 points or more at any point in the game. Their last 3 games trailed by 10 against Texas Tech, 9 against Auburn, 12 against Houston, and they did it in their final 3 games of the season. So they're the first in any NCAA tournament to finish 3-0 when down 8 points or more. So again, a lot of credit goes to them. This is the first team. I want to say that it may have been the first team ever since the star rating system came out, the first team ever to win a national title. I know it was the first game ever to win so it must have been the first game ever with 0 5-star recruits on the floor. Not one on either team. Remember Walter Clayton, who is the tournament's most outstanding player, 0-star recruit. 0.0 star recruit. He was a guy that he was offered to play football in the SEC, and he wanted to play basketball. And Rick Pitino called him fat. Rick Pitino said he's fat, he's slow, and he can't shoot, but the dude can pass. And then when Pitino left, when Pitino went to St. John's, Walter Clayton went to Florida, and the rest is history. Before tonight, Houston was 181-5 in games since 2018, when they had at least a 12-point lead. They were 181-5 in those games. Didn't matter. This is the first time since 1989 that 0 freshmen played in the national championship game. Kelvin mentioned it in the he mentioned all the emotion of the team, that even the freshmen who didn't see a minute on the floor tonight were like inconsolable wailing in the locker room. That's how, that's how upset everyone was. And
Oliver didn't play at all, right?
He hasn't played all season.
Yeah.
That giant guy, that Olivier, he is.
He was very easy to spot on the floor.
Dude, it's crazy to see him walk out. Like all these guys, like
huge.
These guys who are like 7 feet tall, they look like normal people when he's standing by them.
Yep.
It's pretty wild. But again, man, these are the things that are tough to watch. But like, think about, again, I said this at the beginning of the show. You lost a game you weren't supposed to lose. You won a game you weren't supposed to win. The last 2 minutes and 5 seconds against Duke, Houston scored 15 points. They came back and won. The last 2 minutes and 5 seconds against Florida, Houston scored 0 points. You don't win games like that. That's it's a tough break, but that's just them's the breaks, baby. Them's the breaks. I will say there was, and John brings it up, or no, it was Cougs brings it up. There was a missed goaltending on that thing, and then Florida went down and hit a 3. I thought they were going to review it. I don't think I couldn't see on TV. I never saw them on the in-house monitors. I never saw them review it. I don't think that they did. Very, very rough time for that to happen and to not give it a look. And Jaywan Roberts was going down the court like saying, hey, man, you guys need to look at that. That's a goaltend. And when you look at the replay, it was certainly a goaltend. There's no real two ways about it. But again, there's going to be missed calls both ways, and that's just the way it is. My complaint with the officiating was more that there was a standard set for what the officiating was going to be in the first half, and at halftime it changed materially. And I don't know how you deal with that. I will say this. The most painful part was, like, on that last play when Sharp let the ball go, it was seeing Kelvin Sampson on the sideline just not move. And, like, you could tell 40 years this dude's been waiting for this moment. And just gone. Poof. I will say it was agony in that locker room. All right. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back. We'll wrap up the first hour of the show. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
A lot of people argue that the best breed of dog is a lineage called the Rescue. They're right. That's why we're asking San Antonio Sports Star listeners to help no-kill rescue agencies around San Antonio with food that these pups need. They're all good dogs. They just need a chance. The voice of the National Dog Show, John O'Hurley, will join the Sports Star guys all day Friday, April 11th for the 2025 Puppy Food Bank Radiothon. Sponsored by Thomas J. Henry, the Institute for Functional Health, Big State Financial, G2Fi Shoes, Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat and AC, Ponderosa Ranch, Mr. W Fireworks, and Fifi and Fido's Pet Boutique. So lend a helping paw during the 2025 Puppy Food Bank Radiothon, Friday, April 11th, with 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
When it comes to vaccines, it's important to get the facts. The City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District understands that keeping your child safe is your top priority. Vaccines are safe and can help your child's immune system fight harmful germs. They protect against serious diseases and can even save lives. Because when it comes to your child's health, it's time to get real about vaccines and get the facts. Learn more at sa.gov/health. sa.gov/health.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Folks, right now is the ideal time to get ready for the summer season with the Quarter Moon AC $58.99 preseason special. It's a real home run. You'll have your AC ready before the summer heat hits. We'll inspect your AC's indoor and outdoor coils, filters, temperature levels, and make sure you're ready for the summer heat, all just for $58.99. So when your AC is warming up, Quarter Moon comes in like a heavy hitter.
Hey, batter, I'm gonna give it some heat.
651-5899.
License number TACLA 141074EM16004.
Carbach Brewing was not born in San Antonio, Texas, but they have certainly gone out of their way to make San Antonio their second home. We had the head brewer come in, and he said when they first started to reach outside of Houston, San Antonio was the place they wanted to be, and does it show. Carbach beer is all over our great city, from their in-your-face flagship IPA, Hopadillo, to the Ziegenbach, to their best seller, the Love Street, their Kolsch-style blonde. There is something for everyone in Carbach's lineup, and it is all over the place. Of course, you're going to find it at the grocery stores. Of course, you're going to find it at the liquor stores, but it's also at a bunch of bars and restaurants around town. They wanted to make this their second home, and that's what it's become. So when you're out, you're watching the games at your local sports bar, your local restaurant, your local hangout, you're thinking, I want to elevate my beer game a little bit. Well, friend, wherever you're at, they probably have some Carbach either on tap or in cans. So when you're out and about doing your thing, go ahead and make sure to ask your bartender to please make it a Carbach.
Tragically, recent data reveals that 40% of women in Texas will experience intimate partner violence. Christie's Hope is dedicated to breaking the cycle of domestic violence by providing shelter, healing, and counseling, and empowering survivors to take their first steps towards lasting safety and independence. Thomas J. Henry stands with us in our commitment to end domestic violence. Donate today at christieshope.org.
Hey, fellow Gen Xers, it's Elizabeth Banks. Big news! The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the charge. After all, we gave the world the internet. We're trailblazers. Let's lead the way again, because we are at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Head to vaxassist.com and schedule today. That's vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Welcome, John, our new admin lead.
Thanks.
You've got your laptop, all your admin apps. Oh, and you'll be in charge of ordering food for the team. So here's your drawer full of menus.
Whoa.
You'll keep your receipts in this file folder. Whoops! Receipt confetti.
Oh, dear.
Oh, and all these sticky notes have everyone's dietary preferences.
Have you tried Easy Cater? Online ordering from great restaurants, tools to save time and stay on budget, digital receipts in one place.
We're gonna need a bigger recycling bin.
Easy Cater, the smarter, simpler way to order food for your workplace. Order now at easycater.com.
Progressive understands that bond between you and your boat. But imagine if something happened to it. Without the boat, you're just Tina with too much boat knowledge. Sure, it's helpful on the water, but with no boat, you're someone who talks way too much about knots, and no one cares what a jib is anyway. Boat Tina could get away with it because she has a boat. So make sure your boat is insured. Get Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer, and then go back to being you, Tina, who owns a boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. This was the first tournament in history where all 3 games of the Final Four went into the final timeout, and the team leading at that final TV timeout lost the game. So that begs the question. I mean, I saw a lot of people saying this is like one of the greatest Final Fours ever. And I mean, I think from a drama standpoint, you might be right. It had all the makings of it. It had the 4 best teams in the country.
Right.
All made it here. That's awesome. All 3 games were big comeback games. All 3 teams that won trailed by, I think,
10 or more, right?
No, I don't know if Auburn was ever up 10 on. They might have been up 10 on floor. I know they were up at least 9, but
they were up
close.
Least, yeah.
So there was drama in all the games. Even if you whatever you want to complain about, and there was complaints about officiating in the like Duke fan was complaining about officiating. They may have had a point. Houston fan is complaining about officiating. They may have a point. But it feels like overall, if you are if you're not attached to any one of those 3 teams or any of those 4 teams, I mean, you probably looked at this as like, man, this was a good hoop. It wasn't sexy, but that's the thing. That's when you put Houston in the game, it's not going to be sexy. It's just not going to be. But no, it was a heartbreaking finish. But like I said, I think if you don't have a dog in the fight, you're probably just happy that there was late game drama. And unfortunately, I had a dog in the fight. I had a team I wanted to win. I had a team I was financially invested in, which what are you going to do?
Yeah. Come on.
But yeah, it boils down to I do think at the end of the day this was at least to the casual viewer at a minimum it's an entertaining product. So I haven't had time to dig through and see who won the or like if people are looking at this overall, like on Twitter and stuff, if people are looking at it overall as like a great Final Four, but pretty damn impressive. And we've had some good ones here, man. Jose says 2008 national title game was 10 times better than last night. I mean that was the Kansas-Memphis game. That was another one that kind of goes down historically as a choke job. Memphis couldn't make a free throw down the stretch, and that was the difference in that game. But that Final Four specifically, that was the games other than the championship game, which was a great game. The Final Four games were non-competitive. Kansas beat North Carolina. I don't remember the exact score, but it was like by 20 points. Memphis beat UCLA by or close to that as well. So, I mean, those were not good games. Every game of this Final Four was good. This was a great Final Four. And just like that time, that was the 4-1 seeds all here in 2008. So I don't know. The national title, 10 times better than last night. I won't go there. But that was a great, and it's not like that Kansas-Memphis game was some sort of offensive show out either. That game was played in the 60s or 70s, if I recall, as well. So I don't know. I think that's I don't think that's fair to say. I thought last night was a great game, great finish. Just pain if you're a Houston fan. Everything Texas State says Houston always the bridesmaid, never the bride. You do have to consider they have maybe it might be 2 of the most painful championship game losses in history are the Houston Cougars losing to NC State, and then on the putback, and then this one. I mean, they're certainly on the Mount Rushmore of the 2 most painful championship game losses in the history of this tournament. So, yeah. Bridesmaid is it kind of feels that way. It does kind of feel that way. All right, let's we'll talk more about this game as the day goes on. I want to give away something. Let's give away the Whitechapel tickets. Hymns and Dissonance Tour. It's April 16th at the Aztec Theater. You want to go see Whitechapel? Let's go with caller number 2. You're going to win tickets to go see Whitechapel at the Aztec Theater. Caller number 2. Simple as that. And if you don't win tickets, of course, you can buy them at livenation.com. 1 hour in the books, 1 Rob-free hour in the books. My voice is already tired. I'm exhausted. But I'm going to soldier. I'm going to soldier on.
Yeah,
I'm going to soldier on. I think I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back for hour number 2. I just I can't leave now. I feel like everybody be disappointed. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. KTFM, Floresville.
This report is sponsored by Rocket. Rocket is giving every home one address. Rocket.com, a single seamless home ownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, even refinance your home. Everything you need, all under one roof. Visit Rocket.com, the new home for all things home ownership. Rocket, own the dream.
Transform your water with Connecticut. For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station, $400 off with a trade-in, and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Don't wait. The offer ends soon. Call Connecticut today.
You've decided to divorce. I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you're worried about getting the bills paid, childcare, and your divorce, we'll help make it simple, painless, and affordable.
Your future matters. Call the law office of Steve Benke.
Call 210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Look, there's feelings and then there's the facts. If you're feeling like your finance team is bogged down in mundane manual tasks, the fact is you need Ramp. Ramp is the corporate card that makes the expense process fast and easy. The moment your team makes a purchase, Ramp handles everything. Receipt collection and approvals, the works. With Ramp, you can cut your month-end close from 5 days to 1, customize approval workflows, and get complete control over every transaction. Facts. Over 25,000 businesses trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is why they were just named #1 in spend management by G2. Facts. Start using Ramp and you'll have more time to spend scaling your business, and that'll feel really good. Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's RAMP.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Buying a home used to feel like a complete headache. Listings here, pre-approval there, financing somewhere else. Now, Rocket is giving every home one address. Rocket.com. A single seamless homeownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, and refinance your home. Everything you need, all under one roof. Visit Rocket.com, the new home for all things home ownership. Rocket, own the dream.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. In good shape as you head out and about. 281 southbound from Basse to 35 right now. That's about a 5-minute ride. 35 northbound Loop 410 to 1604. That's about 5 minutes. On I-10 eastbound Loop 410 to 1604, 5-6-minute ride. And should take you about 10 minutes or so. 1604 northbound from 35 to 90. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The Florida Gators are national champions, erasing a 12-point second-half deficit before holding on for a 65-63 win over Houston. The Spurs have been eliminated from playoff contention, but they still have games to finish out the season, as tonight they take on the Clippers in L.A. Tip-off set for 9:30. I'm Vic Brown with 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
7:01 on the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. AJ, you've been deriding the SEC all year, then you bet against them in the championship. You need to practice what you preach. Think about the absurdity of that statement. Think about that.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, the SEC, what'd they get? Like, I don't know, 14 teams into the tournament. It was, without question, the best league that's ever existed in college basketball this year. I mean, it was a phenomenal year for the SEC. But to blindly say that an SEC team is going to win the championship is just ridiculous. The SEC was the best conference in college football. They didn't win the national title. Both those things can be true. There's nuance in life, friends. It's not as simple as, well, they're in the best conference. They got to win. Yeah, no, not really. It's not that simple. It's not saying I'm not practicing what I preach. The SEC was the best conference all year long. It wasn't really close. I still think that Houston was the right side last night. Didn't work out, but it's the right side wins about, 55% of the time. It's just the way it goes. I don't think I'd change my pick. I thought that Houston they were a good matchup for them. They did a good job shutting down the guy who had dominated this tournament for the most part, Walter Clayton. They hold him to 11 points. Kelvin said after the game, if you had told me we were holding Walter Clayton to 11 points tonight, I would have said that we won the game, and it makes sense. But yeah, both things can be true. The SEC can be the best conference and also not have the champion. That wouldn't have been an absurd statement, and it's not me like jumping off the wagon that the SEC was great. The SEC was better than everybody, but it's just styles make fights. I liked Houston's. I liked the way they were built for the tournament, and that's the other thing. Teams built for the tournament are different than teams built for the regular season, and not that I don't think Florida was built for the regular season. I think they were, but yeah, I do think this Houston team, and Kelvin said as much after the game yesterday. He's like, we were built to win 6 games in a row, but sometimes you have a bad 2.5 minutes. and Houston had about the worst 2.5 minutes you could have. It doesn't take away. Houston, they became the first team in history to play at least 40 games and not have a loss by more than 5 points all season long. Lost 5 games, none of them were by more than 5 points. Nothing. I don't think you can take anything away from the season Houston had. Nothing away from Florida either. Who, someone has, for every collapse, there has to be someone on the other side taking advantage of it. And I can't imagine the complete mirror image, like the opposite, I guess, the bizarro locker room. Imagine what that Houston locker room felt like Saturday night after the comeback against Duke, and then contrast that to what they would have felt like last night. I mean, I can't even imagine being on top of the world. And maybe there's something to that. Maybe there's something to the emotion of winning a game like that you probably shouldn't have won, and then that riding that high and still having to play another game. Boy, that's a lot, man. I'd sure much rather come back from 15 and win the game you're not supposed to win in the last game of the season, because to try and get up 2 games later, even for the biggest game of the year, got to be pretty tough. So, but again, it's not to take anything away from Florida or the SEC, which again still is the best conference in college basketball this year, probably for the foreseeable future, by the way. But I thought Houston was the better team last night. Better team doesn't always win. Them's the breaks, friends. The odds are out already. How about that for next season? Already? I don't know that it makes any sense to wager, because the transfer portal is going to wreak havoc on all these teams. We've got no idea what any of these rosters are going to look like. But your current favorite to win the title next year is Duke at 10-1. These are all courtesy of Bet Online, by the way. Duke 10-1, Houston 12-1, despite the fact that they're going to be J1 Roberts is going to be gone. LJ Cryer is going to be gone. They got a lot of guys who are headed out, so I'm not sure that makes sense for Houston to be the second favorite. Louisville and Purdue both 14-1. BYU 16-1. That's the AJ DeBansa effect, I would guess. They're getting the number 1 recruit in the country. But ask Rutgers how that worked out. Rutgers got two of the top 3 recruits on their team and didn't even make the tournament. Alabama and Arkansas, Auburn, those 3 all 18-1. Oh, UConn and Kentucky, 5 teams at 18-1. Kansas 22-1. Florida, Michigan, St. John's, and Texas Tech all 25-1. Other teams in Texas: Baylor 33-1, Texas 66-1, and SMU 150-1, and A&M. There they are, 200-1 for Aggie. 200-1 if you think they can get the job done. TCU at 300-1. Let's see, North Texas 500-1. Yeah, UTS. Yeah, for whatever reason, UTSA and Incarnate Word didn't make the list of teams that have a chance to win the national title last year. I can't imagine why. So there you go. We're already on to next season. Already on.
Don't waste any time.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Who's got time to? I mean, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna sit around dwelling on this forever and ever and ever?
Just gonna mope.
You can't do it. You can't do it. We got more hoops to get into. Which that's what we're gonna do next. There's an NBA season going on. I hadn't noticed, but there's an NBA season that's going on right now. Yeah, apparently it's getting close to an end. So we'll kind of, we need to do a catch up on the NBA, what's going on there. Now, if you're waiting for an update on the Spurs season, that's not really coming. The Spurs season is over. But the rest of it, there's some interesting stuff going on in the NBA. We'll talk about that as well coming up in the next show. But I did want to I did think it was worthy of spending some time, because I don't think you get championship games like that very often. I think it's we were lucky to have it here. I wanted to address the Alamo Dome. I know that's been a big topic of discussion because San Antonio is not in the future rotation. There is a Final Four in Texas in the next 5 years, but it's at Jerry World. And the Alamo Dome, we saw Ginny Carnes. Ginny Carnes got inducted into like some sort of Hall of Fame last night. She was like honored at the game. She's in charge of San Antonio sports. And I'd love when Rob gets back, maybe we can talk to her about the future of that building. But it's pretty clear the Alamo Dome is there's going to have to be something done with it in order for it to get up to snuff to hosting these events again, which is kind of unfortunate because one of the things I realized last night is the Alamo Dome is really the perfect sized venue for the Final Four. It holds 60-something thousand. It's smaller than a football stadium, but much bigger than a basketball arena.
Right.
It's right because it sucks, man. The Final Four being in Jerry World or in Indianapolis or Arizona at the Cardinal Stadium, it's like playing in a giant cave. It kills the basketball vibe. It is it's the opposite. Here it's like it feels like a gigantic basketball arena. So it kind of, I don't know, it feels like the perfect blend, perfect size. But that's sort of the disappointing thing. I know it's kind of a dinosaur. I know it's got a lot that needs to be updated, fixed, whatever. But it does suck because it really is the perfect size venue for this stuff, for a game like this. So I think that I should say I hope that eventually San Antonio is able to do what it takes to get this thing up to snuff, whatever that may be. I don't know how feasible it is. There's things that, like, probably what really needs to happen is there somehow the roof needs to be raised 20 feet, and they need to add in another level where they can put some suites and stuff like that. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But hopefully we can talk to Ginny Carnes later on, or when Rob gets back. I know he's probably got a number for her, and we can kind of get her feel on the future of that building. But I'm hoping that it comes back to San Antonio, because this is, and everyone I talked to was like, this town is so great for it. Everything being sort of centralized downtown is great. We've got the hotel infrastructure, or it's an event city. People enjoy themselves here, have a good time on the Riverwalk. It's just the building itself is a bit of a dinosaur, and that's unfortunate. Jay Williams from ESPN, he tweeted this last night. You can't call the first half like a UFC fight and call the second like it's a ballet. Shout out to Florida for best adjusting to the second half, but this game was horribly officiated. 4 fouls total called in the first half, 25 called in the second. If you set the tone for how the game is officiated, then keep it that way the whole game. That's exactly my thought. The game did not materially change. The physicality of the game did not materially change in the second half. The officials changed on how it was played. I don't really understand why it went. I say that I kind of do understand. It really did. It started when the game was a 10-point game. Nobody wants this game to be a blowout.
You want it to be close.
You want drama. You want excitement. Yeah. I'm not saying that officials were one way or the other hoping one team would win, but I do think that there was probably some. We'd like this game to be closer than it is, and I just thought I thought the officiating wasn't very good in the Final Four period, in really any of the games. But I don't think I'm going to blame officiating for anybody losing, because again, if officiating was great in the Final Four, Houston probably would have lost on Saturday, so it wouldn't have mattered. I just didn't think in general it was very good. But again, that missed goaltending call, that one is going to because in a game, mind you, college basketball is now known as a game that stops almost too much to check on things, and they decide not to check on that. Ugh. That's an odd time not to check and see if that was a goaltend, which it clearly was on once you check it out again. It just kind of I don't know, it cheapens the outcome a little bit. But again, kudos to Florida. They did adjust to the officiating better in the second half, and when Houston saw that the whistle was coming out, they didn't change up the way they played. So maybe there's some credit to be given there to Florida. All right. We'll take a break from we'll take a break from the show, but we'll take a break from the game last night. We'll start looking at some other stuff going on in the world of sports. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
A lot of people argue that the best breed of dog is a lineage called the Rescue. They're right. That's why we're asking San Antonio Sports Star listeners to help no-kill rescue agencies around San Antonio with food that these pups need. They're all good dogs. They just need a chance. The voice of the National Dog Show, John O'Hurley, will join the Sports Star guys all day Friday, April 11th for the 2025 Puppy Food Bank Radiothon. Sponsored by Thomas J. Henry, the Institute for Functional Health, Big State Financial, G2Fi Shoes, Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat and AC, Ponderosa Ranch, Mr. W Fireworks, and Fifi and Fido's Pet Boutique. So lend a helping paw during the 2025 Puppy Food Bank Radiothon, Friday, April 11th, with 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Guys over 40, tired of feeling tired? Testosterone therapy by Synergenics is the answer. This April, the consultation is free. Treatment covered by most major insurance. Don't wait for online beds. Walk into their clinic, see a provider, feel great today. Book now at fixmylowt.com.
When it comes to vaccines, it's important to get the facts. The City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District understands that keeping your child safe is your top priority. Vaccines are safe and can help your child's immune system fight harmful germs. They protect against serious diseases and can even save lives. Because when it comes to your child's health, it's time to get real about vaccines and get the facts. Learn more at sa.gov/health. sa.gov/health.
An accident can leave you struggling to pay for medical bills. At Thomas J. Henry, we believe you deserve justice no matter your financial situation. That's why you don't pay us unless we win your case. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. San Antonio, Texas.
Flight by Yuengling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yuengling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yuengling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yuengling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
With Progressive, it's easy to reach customer service with our app, website, chat, or by phone. Because when getting help is hard, it's not help at all.
Little help. A little help over here?
Thank you for calling Bench Press Assistance.
What?
Due to excessive gym volume, all available spotters are currently lifting heavy weights off the chests of other bench pressers.
Seriously?
Please continue to hold, and we will remove the barbell from your chest in the order in which your cry for help was received.
Getting assistance should be easy. With Progressive, it is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
When spring is in the air, so are the savings during the Mow Less, Save More sales event at your local Aaron's dealer. We're celebrating the season with $100 off qualifying Icon zero-turn lawnmowers with special financing offers available. The Icon mows quickly, comfortably, and leaves a perfectly cut lawn every time. This spring, clean up with savings of $100 off on Aaron's Icon zero-turn during the Mow Less, Save More sales event. Restrictions apply. See your local dealer for details.
With the Spurs out of the postseason, a way to make watching the playoffs more exciting is with Underdog. Jason Minix here from The Blitz. Love playing Underdog, one of the leading sports apps where you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Play the Pick'em game where you go higher or lower on predicted stats like points, assists, rebounds. Create your own entry and have a lot of fun. Download the Underdog app. Sign up now using the promo code STAR to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun with promo code STAR. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon your first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona. Present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
My name is John. I could not lose the weight I needed to. The Institute for Functional Health Wellness Program was the answer. It included a great deal of testing, supplements, and weekly face-to-face doctor visits. I finally had the accountability I needed. I am now 50 pounds lighter. I no longer have pain in my elbow, back, and hips. I have more energy and just feel and look so much better.
Call for your complimentary consultation, 210-468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health.
Hey, fellow Gen Xers, it's Elizabeth Banks. Big news! The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the charge. After all, we gave the world the internet. We're trailblazers. Let's lead the way again because we are at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Head to vaxassist.com and schedule today. That's vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
If you miss The Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you miss this.
Got to ask a question. Speaking of high school kids, cheese.
Cheese.
Is that a new thing? You cheese somebody's car?
Yes.
Instead, you don't egg it, you cheese it.
Eggs have gotten too expensive.
And
Not
we're gonna-
that cheese is cheap, but yes, it's happening.
Cheese.
Right home with The Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. You're listening to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Morning Huddle 94.1. Did you see who a lot of people were blaming the loss on last night?
What is it? Let me see.
No, not on the Brigade Bar, just in the world.
They're blaming it?
They're blaming it on Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, who does seem to first of all,
damper on everything.
He does. Every time he shows up, it's like, I'm an Astro fan. Astros lose. Oh, I'm a Longhorn fan. Longhorns lose. I'm a Cowboys fan. Cowboys lose. Whenever he goes to a game in person, it seems that they lose. And of course, right around the time that he was spotted at the game, 17 minutes left in the game, is when the Houston Chronicle, in fact, tweeted out that Ted Cruz was in the building.
And everybody knew then.
For the rest of the game, Houston was outscored 35-23. Now I don't know when. I didn't see Ted Cruz there. I don't know when he got there.
Did he go to the Spurs games?
He would have had to go to a lot of Spurs games to curse that.
He probably did.
Ted Cruz is such a big basketball fan that he once called the hoop a basketball ring.
I've never heard it called that.
You never really?
Never.
A basketball ring? Oh.
No, it's always been a hoop or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had he was trying to make a bet with a senator from Florida, and I'm convinced now that he was talking to Rick Scott in Florida and was like, hey, I'll bet you barbecue and Shinerbach beer and Bluebell ice cream. And, then the winner has to wear the loser's jersey. Do you want to bet on it? And I'm convinced that Ted Cruz knows that he is the mush, so he bets hundreds of thousands of dollars against whatever Texas team he pretends to be cheering for, and then just said, let's bet some ice cream on it. And then they're like, oh, okay. And then publicly, everybody thinks that, man, Ted Cruz really wants us to win, but privately, he knows that he is cursed. And he's betting millions, and he's just raking it in on us. But yeah, Texas can't have nice things because Ted Cruz
shows up. Yeah.
He likes to pretend that he cares about sports. And that's the worst part of it is I generally hate politicians, and I don't think they care about us. I don't think they represent us. I think they're all awful people.
I'm with you.
In general. But I hate when people pretend to care about things that they don't, like just to get some cheap heat. Like, oh, I'm suddenly a Houston Cougars fan. Go Cougars. No, you're not, Ted Cruz. You don't care. You haven't watched. That's the first game you've watched all year. You haven't watched Houston put it up in the basketball ring all year.
You didn't know their colors were red.
Yeah.
Yeah, which one's Houston?
And now you show up and you pretend like, oh, I'm fighting the good. I hate that. Yeah. Like one of the worst things I ever saw. Oh, Rick Perry. I was at the Texas OU game, and Rick Perry, who is an Aggie, was like in the press box, literally climbing on the desk in the press box, cheering for the Longhorns against Oklahoma, even though I know deep down he wanted Texas to lose. But it's just he's got to put on the facade to try and get some votes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate that about politics. Don't pretend to care about sports, politician guy. Stick to politics. People always tell me, stick to sports. Stick to politics, Ted Cruz. Don't show up at my sports match games ruining things for everybody. Nobody needs that. I think Ted Cruz should be banished from all sports going forward, all sporting events. He should have to check in at the door, and there should be a picture of him. They go,
no.
Sorry, Bubba, we're not going to let you in. Can't do it. Elsewhere in the world of college hoops, we didn't get to this yesterday somehow. I guess we were previewing the big game yesterday. But the Texas A&M Fighting Aggies got themselves a new head coach, Bucky McMillan. With losing Buzz Williams, obviously, we knew they were going to get – and musical chairs had been kind of shut off for a while, so this was a late loss. They went after Chris Beard, apparently made a pitch to Grant McCaslin at Texas Tech, were rebuffed by both of those guys, and the Aggies go with Samford coach, not Stanford, Samford coach, Bucky McMillan. And don't get me wrong. Rob was saying this yesterday. Rob does not like this. Rob is like, oh, we got to do something better than the Samford coach. You're not supposed to go from Samford to Texas A&M. But this dude is legit. And he has, he has turned around a program that didn't really exist. He was a high school coach at age 25, and then he went from high school straight to the head coach of Samford and won 2 regular season conference titles, 4 straight 20-win seasons, got them to their first NCAA tournament since 2000. 99-52 was his college record, and this is a guy, they play a style of ball that is like, if you've been watching Texas A&M basketball, you may have noticed that it is dreadful to watch. Texas A&M's offense under Buzz Williams was mostly chuck up a bad shot, get an offensive rebound, and chuck up another bad shot and hope that eventually one of those things goes in or you get fouled. That is not going to be the case anymore. This is not going to be a slow, grimy defensive team. Bucky McMillan, first of all, they do play tough defense. They force turnovers. They ranked 4th nationally this season in turnovers forced. But they are an exciting offensive team. They were 7th in the country in three-pointers made, 11th in three-pointers attempted, and they call it Bucky ball. This is a team that on defense, they press you, full court pressure, and then when they get the ball, it is fast. They are a top 5 tempo team. They've been in the top 10 tempo in like 4 of the last 5 years, or 3 of the 4 last years. It's Samford. It is going to be exciting. It is going to be a lot of offense. So if you are an Aggie fan and you're disappointed that you got someone called a Bucky, then worry not. It's not the end of the world. I think this is a good hire for A&M, and Buzz leaving is kind of what it is. Buzz Williams does this. Buzz is a serial. He's a serial team hopper. He goes somewhere, he sticks around for 5 years or so, and then he's ready to go on to the next gig. He doesn't like rebuilding in the same place. I guess he wasn't looking forward to a rebuild at Texas A&M, knowing they're going to lose a lot of guys. I would imagine that Bucky's going to bring some guys from Samford. I don't think that's the worst thing. I know your A&M fan is going to be like, oh, we don't want these kids. Listen, man, continuity is a big deal now in sports, in college sports, where you're seeing it happened with UC San Diego this last year. We saw it with Drake. Teams that are going from D2 straight to D1, bringing their coach, bringing some players, and competing. It's not a bad way to build a team right now. And, of course, with A&M's, with the luxury they have of having a gigantic bag of money, I expect them to get things going in the right direction pretty quick. So I think this is a good hire. I think it's not going to be an instant winner. But what it is going to be instantly a more interesting brand of basketball than Texas A&M's had in a little while. So I'm not opposed to the hire of Bucky McMillan. He brought in some old head coaches to join his staff. I think that's always a good thing for a young head coach, to surround himself by guys who are experienced. And I think it really opens the door for a sponsorship from the Beaver gas station, from Bucky's gas station now. Now, there's going to be like last night, the blimps were flying around. The Chuck blimp and the Magic blimp were flying around the Alamo Dome, dropping off tickets to trade in for swag. I think maybe you'll see that at A&M. The Bucky's blimp, the Flying Beaver, dropping beaver nugs onto people.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. It'd be cool if it was actually the beaver nuggets you can eat and not beaver poop. I hate
Oh,
poop.
yeah.
Yeah, nobody likes
Actual
poop.
nuggets,
yeah, but those beaver...
Or just some Bucky's beef jerky in packets. I'd just throw that everywhere.
I like that.
Oh, I'd be fine for that.
I like that. I like the fudge at Bucky's. I like the German chocolate cake fudge where it's got the coconut strips on top. Oh.
I can eat about 10 bags of that jerky.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. I'm sorry.
I don't like the bag jerky. I like to go to the counter and get the jerky. Yeah, I just like, so it's like one giant hunk of jerky that I can just chew on for an hour. I like that. I like the spiciest kind. That's my favorite. And I also like the garlic one. The garlic one is good too. Yeah. Oh, Bucky's a good spot, man. Good spot, man. But now it opens up a sponsorship. So A&M,
there you have it. Yeah.
A&M thinking ahead. Rob might not realize it, but they're thinking big. Bucky ball.
It's about the bigger picture.
It's the bigger picture. How do we get that beaver money? I love beavers, by the way. What a good animal. What a good animal. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, I'm going to give away some Machine Head tickets, Vic.
Nice.
And we'll start talking some NBA. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First, I got to tell you about Carbach Brewing. They were selling Carbach outside the stadium last night. There were some guys throwing around some Carbach. Crawford Bach, I guess a lot of Houstonians in town, a lot of Crawford Bach being drank last night. But it's not, just because it's brewed in Houston doesn't mean it's just for Houston. When they first decided we're going to branch outside of Houston, the first city they chose, the first keg of Carbach beer that left the city of Houston came right here to San Antonio. How about that? And they said San Antonio is a priority market for them, and they have made it such and have kept it as such since then. And they've got something for everybody's palate. Whether you're an IPA guy, you like the Hopadillo, which is their sort of flagship IPA, very in-your-face, bitter, super OG type IPA, or you want something a little smoother. I like the Crawford Bach. I think it's a great daily drinker. Ziegenbach, great as well. Or if you're looking for an intro beer into craft, the Love Street is their best seller, first of all, but it's a light blonde, Kolsch-style beer. Just an excellent beer. It's going to be great in the summertime. You're going to be able to crush those bad boys. Just elevate your drinking game a little bit, and it's all over the city. It's going to be in all the HEBs, going to be in all the liquor stores, but it's going to be at most bars and restaurants too. You probably noticed that last night if you were out watching the game. So even this next coming weekend, you're out and about. I know there's no more games. You're going to be watching the Masters. What are you going to be doing? You're going to be drinking a beer? Might as well make it a carb up.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Looks like your commute is definitely filling in. On 410 westbound at Fredericksburg Road, that's a stall right there at the Gore at the Apex. So that is blocked. 90 eastbound 211 to Hunt Lane, that's filling in about a 15, 20-minute ride. 1604 northbound Calabria to Bandera Road, that's slowing down. And definitely slow along 35 southbound FM 1103 as you make your way on down to 1604. That is rolling a bit slowly. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? Whether you're a local shop or global enterprise, Bank of America gives you access to a range of business solutions to help make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
Look, there's feelings and then there's the facts. If you're feeling like your finance team is bogged down in mundane manual tasks, the fact is you need Ramp. Ramp is the corporate card that makes the expense process fast and easy. The moment your team makes a purchase, Ramp handles everything. Receipt collection and approvals, the works. With Ramp, you can cut your month-end close from 5 days to 1, customize approval workflows, and get complete control over every transaction. Facts. Over 25,000 businesses trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is why they were just named #1 in spend management by G2. Facts. Start using Ramp and you'll have more time to spend scaling your business, and that'll feel really good. Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature-Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature-Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
I'm at a smoothie bar, asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Folks, right now is the ideal time to get ready for the summer season with the Quarter Moon AC $58.99 preseason special. It's a real home run. You'll have your AC ready before the summer heat hits. We'll inspect your AC's indoor and outdoor coils, filters, temperature levels, and make sure you're ready for the summer heat, all just for $58.99. So when your AC is warming up, Quarter Moon comes in like a heavy hitter.
Hey, batter, I'm gonna give it some heat.
651-5899.
License number TACLA 141074EM16004. Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind, zero-turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow.
This is Jason Minix, and you're listening to the home of the Texas Rangers, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
college basketball comes to an end, we can start looking ahead to the National Basketball Association's draft. I mean, I guess they're going to finish the season and all that stuff first, but in San Antonio, all you care about is the draft at this point, because there is no,
there's nothing else.
There's nothing meaningful happening for the Spurs for the foreseeable future. But a lot of players kind of got to show off their goods in this tournament, including the Final Four. Had a bunch of guys who are likely going to be playing at the next level. Including Cooper Flagg, who is projected to be the number one pick. Of course, he has been that since he was like 16 years old. Everyone knew he was going to be the first pick. Still likely to be the first pick, if assuming he comes out. But the current ESPN mock draft has him going number 1 to Utah, has Dylan Harper from Rutgers going number 2 to the Washington Wizards, number 3, Ace Bailey to the Charlotte Hornets. Now, neither one of those guys even played in the tournament because they were at Rutgers, where Rutgers stunk. New Orleans at number 4, VJ Edgecombe from Baylor. Trey Johnson from Texas, number 5, to the Sixers. The Brooklyn Nets at 6 get Jeremiah Fears, the point guard from Oklahoma. The Toronto Raptors at 7 get Kaman Malawach, the big man from Duke, who impressed greatly, not just in the tournament overall, but here at San Antonio. He's 18 years old. He is a very, very long-armed man. I don't know how good of a
the span is.
It's 7'6" wingspan. Like,
whoa.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know if his offense is going to work in the NBA yet, especially unless he gains some weight. He's got to get stronger. But I think defense, he's there, man. He's going to be there. They've got him 7 overall to the Raptors. 8 to the San Antonio Spurs. Con Kneipel from Duke, who has really kind of cranked up his stock. Good spacing, excellent shooter, better defender than I thought he was early in the season. This is a guy who's big, strong. He's not particularly athletic. He's kind of a slow white guy. He's from Wisconsin. His name is Con, but he is an excellent shooter. He's a guy who I think is a good fit for San Antonio at a position where, the Spurs really don't need more guards. That's kind of the thing, and there's a lot of good guards in this draft. That's the one spot where it seems like the Spurs are kind of set. So it makes sense there. Kasparas Yakashonis, number 9 to Portland, the Illinois freshman point guard, who's like first of all, he's huge. I'm a big fan of his. Number 10, Colin Murray Boyles, the big from South Carolina, has him going to the Rockets, who owns Phoenix's pick. And then 11, Derek Queen from Maryland, going to the Miami Heat. Some other guys of note that have had an impact in this tournament. 14, the Hawks, Jace Richardson from Michigan State. 15 from the Hawks would be the Hawks pick. It ends up being San Antonio's pick. It's a Euro. Joan Behringer, I don't know anything about him. What I do know is that he is he's a tall person. He's 18 years old. He's only been playing basketball for 3 years. He's a shot blocker. He's a Frenchie. I don't know what to think of him. I haven't seen him, so I'm not going to pretend like I know what I'm talking about there. The other guys that you may know, you may be familiar with their names. Oklahoma City, it has getting Carter Bryant. They own the Clippers pick. Carter Bryant was a freshman out of Arizona. I'm not crazy about him, but if Oklahoma City were to take him, I'd probably like him because it seems like they know what they're doing when it comes to drafting. And then Nick Clifford, who had a pretty good performance for Colorado State. He goes 25 to the Hawks. They own the Lakers pick. And Walter Clayton Jr., it's got him moving up into the first round, number 28 to the Boston Celtics. How about that? 30 and 34 points in the Elite Eight and National Championship semifinals. Didn't play great in the final, but was at least there. And you know what? I got to give him – I shouldn't say didn't play great because he didn't play great offensively. I've kind of been a critic of his defense, and he was really good defensively. He's the guy who had the closeout on Emmanuel Sharp and forced him to give up the ball So credit where it's due. Number 29, Alex Condon, who I don't know. Maybe he's hurt. Maybe he's more hurt than anybody made it seem like he was hurt. I thought Alex Condon was borderline unplayable this weekend. I thought he was the worst player on the floor Saturday. I thought he was dreadful again yesterday. He looked so bad, and he's been good for this season. But man, it was an ugly couple games for Alex Condon, who if he is going to be a first round pick, boy, I hope for his sake that he was hurt, because I did not like what I saw out of him. And for Florida, who has all this front court depth, I kept thinking they were just going to pull him off the floor. It's a walking turnover. He was he had multiple travels. Like, he just stunk, man. Jonai Broome ate his lunch the entire first half on Saturday. He just didn't look like he belonged on the floor. But here he is in the first round. For the Spurs in the second round, how about this? Number 38 overall, it has the Spurs taking Jonai Broome, the big man from Auburn. Would be a big name and is certainly a defensive-minded player. He's not huge, but I think the defense plays at the next level. A lot of people don't. A lot of people think his lack of huge size is going to hinder him. Maybe, but in the second round, I say it's worth a shot. It can't hurt taking a shot on a guy like that in the second round. So I'd like to see that. It also has Tahad Pettiford, who also stunk in the tournament, particularly on Saturday. He was the worst player on the floor for Auburn. It has him going 39 to the Raptors. So there you go. There's a look at some of the big names that you may be seeing. Milos Uzan, the point guard from Houston, has him going 42 to Sacramento. Isaiah Evans, the Duke swing sort of guard wing type, he goes to the Jazz at 43. JT Toppin from Texas Tech and Darion Williams, back-to-back picks from the Bulls and the Thunder. Cam Jones, a Marquette point guard, to Orlando. So a lot. Tyrese Proctor to the Clippers. A lot of names you're probably familiar with, and it's got Sion James as well going to Memphis. So that would be the entirety of Duke's starting five leaving via the draft, if this is to be believed, and yet somehow they are still the favorite to win the title next year. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but what do I know? So there you go. There's a look at it. I should mention for Claymore. I know he cares. Liam McNeely, it has going 13th to Dallas, who is an excellent shooter, though he was very streaky this year, and I'm not crazy about him defensively, but not a bad pick for the Mavericks. Big East freshman of the year. He was a guy that they kind of leaned on. He was, quite frankly, for a lot of the year, their only good offensive player. So, and still young, room to grow. All right. The NBA gets kind of they had a couple games last night. They get the Kings beat the Pistons 127-117. The Heat ran away from the Sixers 117-105. We finally get back into a full slate tonight. Jalen Brunson, who's been out for like almost a month, is coming back tonight. He came back on Sunday, I should say. He should be back in tonight against the Celtics. 15 points, 6 assists. They got a win over the Suns, who are just have melted. But now you get this matchup against Boston, a huge game for the Knicks, who are fighting for seeding in the Eastern Conference. I would imagine that I don't know. I don't know because I know in the Western Conference nobody wants to play the Thunder. Like, so if you're the 4 seed or the 5 seed, in the second round you're gonna have to play the Thunder. That sucks. If you're the 8 seed, you got to play the Thunder in the first round. That sucks. In the Eastern Conference, I don't know if it's better to finish 3rd or 4th. I don't know if it's better to be lined up to play Boston or better to be lined up to play Cleveland. I don't know what teams are going to look at and think that they're going to want to do. I still think Cleveland is the best team in the East. In the last, 2 or 3 weeks, Boston has looked better than them. I'm not gonna be a recency bias guy. Cleveland's 4 games up on them in the standings. Cleveland's been the better team all year. I tend to think they're the better team. But in the playoffs, there is something to not wanting to play the team, not wanting to play, A, the defending champs, but B, a team that has any kind of finals experience. That's whereas the Cavs are sort of a younger team that hasn't really – they're not really used to being in this spot. I don't know if it's better to play the Cavs or the Celtics in the playoffs. I don't know who you're aiming for, but the Knicks certainly in that discussion now is with 4 games left. They are battling with the Pacers for that 3-4 slot. Knicks currently slotted in at 3. They'll get the Celtics tonight. It'll either push them closer to the 4, and if the Celtics kick the crap out of them tonight, maybe they'll realize we'd rather not play the Celtics in the playoffs. I don't know. But we do get a relatively full slate of NBA action today. They almost took the whole night off yesterday because of the college game, but games that matter tonight, the Cavs hosting the Bulls, Pacers, the aforementioned Pacers hosting the Wizards. So 2 teams that are in the top of the Eastern Conference standings playing 2 bottom feeders. Magic, Hawks, Pelicans, Nets doesn't matter. The Celtics, Knicks, as I mentioned, the Knicks are 1.5-point favorites, by the way. The Timberwolves and the Bucks, that's an interesting game. Lakers, Thunder should be good. How about this? What if I told you the Oklahoma City Thunder are 14.5-point favorites over the LA Lakers? That is a wild number to me. Warriors are at the Suns. This is the last stand for the Suns. The Suns lose this game. They are donezo, gone, no playoffs. And then the Spurs play the Clippers. The Clippers, one of the hottest teams in the Western Conference right now. So NBA back in the swing of things as college basketball comes to an end. Like I said, most teams have 4 games left on the schedule. So right now we're about, I don't know, week and a half from actual playoff basketball, and I, for one, cannot wait. Claymore says he's hoping for Walter Clayton Jr. He's afraid he moved his way into the top 10. I still promise you, Claymore, there's no way that guy goes top 10. He's too slow. He's too unathletic. He's too streaky of a shooter. I think if the Mavericks wanted him, they'd be able to get him. I just don't think a team that's picking that high is going to take him. I think he's worked his way into the first round, though, for sure. Speaking of working their way into the first round, Mel Kiper released his latest mock draft. We'll get into that coming up in the next segment. Talk about some of the stuff. It's been, quite frankly, very quiet in Dallas on the Micah Parsons front. I'm not really sure what's going on, but we do have a little bit on. We have a little bit of the Joe Milton sound. Joe Milton talking about being around the Cowboys. We've got Tyler Guyton talking about Dak. So we'll have some Cowboys sound coming up in the next hour as well as taking a look at that mock draft that Mel Kiper put out. One thing I'm fascinated by is the differing opinions on Shedeur Sanders. And the Tennessee Titans and Shedeur Sanders have both agreed there's no need for us to have a private workout, which means Shedeur Sanders has 0.0 chance of going number 1 overall. And I think it's been kind of the writing's been on the wall for a while that Cam Ward is the first quarterback to go. Yeah. If the Titans do pick a quarterback, I expect it to be Cam Ward. I think everyone in the world would expect it to be Cam Ward. I think the question is, do they go quarterback or do they go likely Abdul Carter, the pass rusher? That's something that we're going to have to wait on. But for the most part, it's been slow movement in the NFL the last couple of weeks, with the exception of some backup quarterback moves. Like I said, Joe Milton to the Cowboys, Trey Lance to the Chargers, which is a little bit of a weird move. I guess maybe they're hoping they can catch some lightning in a bottle, but they've already. I assume Trey Lance is their third string quarterback because they've already got Taylor Heineke, who's one of the better backups in the league. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but whatever. Maybe Harbaugh thinks he's got something there. So again, next segment we'll hear from Joe Milton, or at least hear from Adam Schefter talking about what Joe Milton had to say, and we'll take a look at that mock draft as well. First, though, I want to give away some tickets to Machine Head. Machine Head's North American 2025 tour, April 17th at the Aztec Theater. You want to go see Machine Head? How about be caller? I'm going to make it easy on you, Vic.
All right.
Caller number 1.
There you
First
go.
guy to ring up your phone, baby. Give that guy some tickets to Machine Head's North American Tour 2025. If you don't win tickets, you can buy them at livenation.com. 2 hours down, 2 to go on a Tuesday. I just realized Rob took Tuesday off. He hates Tuesdays.
Yeah, he does.
No surprise.
Yeah, he planned this.
He did. It's
Yeah.
been in the works he faked it all day yesterday to let us know he was taking Tuesday off.
Yeah.
It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
10-yard line. Touchdown, Vegas. What a wild finish.
Your home for the NFL.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? Whether you're a local shop or global enterprise, Bank of America gives you access to a range of business solutions to help make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/bankingforbusiness.
When it comes to vaccines, it's important to get the facts. The City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District understands that keeping your child safe is your top priority. Vaccines are safe and can help your child's immune system fight harmful germs. They protect against serious diseases and can even save lives. Because when it comes to your child's health, it's time to get real about vaccines and get the facts. Learn more at sa.gov/health. sa.gov/health.
Hey, fellow Gen Xers, it's Elizabeth Banks. Big news! The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the charge. After all, we gave the world the internet. We're trailblazers. Let's lead the way again because we are at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Head to vaxassist.com and schedule today. That's vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
From a fender bender to a total loss, Davis Law Firm has a team of expert attorneys ready to get you back on the road with the verdict or settlement you deserve. Y hablamos español. Want more? Call the Fours. Davis Law Firm San Antonio, 444-4444.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Buying a home used to feel like a complete headache. Listings here, pre-approval there, financing somewhere else. Now, Rocket is giving every home one address. Rocket.com. A single seamless homeownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, and refinance your home. Everything you need, all under one roof. Visit Rocket.com, the new home for all things homeownership. Rocket. Own the dream.
My name is John. I could not lose the weight I needed to. The Institute for Functional Health Wellness program was the answer. It included a great deal of testing, supplements, and weekly face-to-face doctor visits. I finally had the accountability I needed. I am now 50 pounds lighter. I no longer have pain in my elbow, back, and hips. I have more energy and just feel and look so much better.
Call for your complimentary consultation, 210-468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, we have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-931-3030. So if you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, call now. Find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-931-3030 to speak with a live person now.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
Texas coastal waterfront properties starting at only $49.9?
That's right. Driftwood Acres at Wolf Point, located on the highly sought-after Matagorda Bay, is extending their grand opening for one day, this Saturday. Book your private tour to see 1 to 3 acre properties, all with bay access, starting at just $49.9. Yes, just $49.9.
This gated waterfront community features panoramic views, world-class fishing, resort-style pool and cabana, community fishing pier, boat and RV storage, and so much more. It's happening Saturday, April 12th, one day only. Coastal waterfront property starting at an unbelievable $49.9. Just $49.9. Call to book your private tour or for information for this Saturday. 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Appointments are limited, so call now. 210-853-0389. Texas waterfront properties will never be more affordable. 210-853-0389.
Oh, wow, honey, I love it. It's so beautiful and so sparkly.
Just like you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
I'll wear it every day. It goes with everything.
This Mother's Day, wow Mom with spirit-lifting, outfit-making, express-your-love jewelry. Shop jtv.com/mom for wow-worthy and budget-friendly styles.
I'm never taking it off.
Another wow factor? Sign up for JTV Text and get $30 off. If she loves jewelry, she'll love JTV.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Your commute definitely slowing down. It's about 25 minutes on 90 eastbound, 211 over to Hunt Lane. It's a 20-minute ride, 1604 northbound, Calabria to Vance Jackson. 410 northbound, 151 to I-10 should take you about 15, 17 minutes. And on 35 southbound, FM 3009 on down to Thousand Oaks, 10, 12-minute ride. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The Florida Gators are national champions, erasing a 12-point second-half deficit before holding on for a 65-63 win over Houston. The Spurs have been eliminated from playoff contention, but they still have games to finish out the season, as tonight they take on the Clippers in L.A. Tip-off set for 9:30. I'm Vic Brown with 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center brought to you by Centergenics. Book your appointment at fixmylowt.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
8:01 on the Morning Huddle, the Rob-free Morning Huddle. Womp womp.
The sniffles, Rob. He's got the sniffles.
I'm wearing down. I've been talking a lot today. I don't know if I can keep this up for 2 more hours, Vic.
You can do it.
You may have to finish the show.
You can do it.
I've given my best effort, but, you know, I'm only a man. I mean, I'm an incredible man, but I'm only a man at the end of the day. Only a man. The NFL, we're approaching draft day, man. It's getting close. And, of course, there was big showcase. Colorado had their pro day on Friday last week, and Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, neither one of them really took part in the physicals testing or the position drills, but Sanders threw it a little bit, threw for just under an hour. Hunter was one of the wide receivers that played along with him. Neither one of the players did anything at the combine this year, but so it was the first time we've gotten to see Sanders throw since, live action. Some 7-step drops, some play action from the shotgun, play action under center. But he said he was happy with how he threw. And Dion, for what it's worth, said that now I'm sure he's got nothing to do with – this has nothing to do with his personal bias, but he said Shedeur and Travis Hunter should be the first and second pick. He's not sure what order, but they should be the first 2 guys picked no matter what. And he's certainly completely unbiased in that opinion. Like he's got no skin in the game. None. I can tell you now, they will not be the first 2 picks in the draft. One of them might be the second pick, but they will not be the first 2 picks. Mel Kiper Jr. has released his latest mock draft. We are now 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away from the NFL draft. We're right there. And he's got number 1 overall, Cam Ward, going to the Tennessee Titans at number 1. that means Abdul Carter, who I think is the best player available, is likely to fall a little bit in the draft. Now, the Titans have said they're open to anything at this point. They've talked a lot about how valuable the pick is, how valuable having a franchise quarterback would be. I assumed that was to try and crank up the trade value. Like maybe they did not want to take a quarterback, but they wanted to up the price on it. But they also have to get a real quarterback. Will Levis sucks, so it's. I would still take Abdul Carter with the first pick. I'm not mad at him if they take Cam Ward, even though, again, I wouldn't take a quarterback in the first round of this thing, much less with the first pick. So I get what the Titans' thinking would be here, but it's just not for me. Number 2, it's got the Browns taking Travis Hunter. Number 3, the beneficiaries is the New York Giants. Abdul Carter, it's got them taking him at number 3, which is a little wild because that would mean up front they would have Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Dexter Lawrence. That is a hell of a pass rush group. Might be completely wasted because the rest of the team is ass, but at least you'd be able to get after the passer. Has the Patriots taking Will Campbell from LSU at number 4 and Mason Graham at number 5, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Ashton Genty, the running back from Boise, goes 6 to the Raiders. Armand Membu, tackle from Missouri, goes 7 to the Jets. Jalen Walker goes 8 to Carolina, the Georgia linebacker. Number 9, Shedeur Sanders from Colorado goes to the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are a pretty, it makes sense. They have a quarterback who they don't really seem to be in love with in Derek Carr, but is also good enough to let Shedeur sit for a year behind. Derek Carr's in his mid-30s. Maybe they're thinking, well, at least we can get this last year out of him and move on from him. But it's someone that Sanders can sit back and learn, although, I mean, Sanders' accuracy, things like that, don't seem to be a problem. I guess it's just learning reads, those types of things. But I think that'd be a decent fit for him as well, although, again, I'm not taking a quarterback in the first round if I had my druthers. 10, the Bears take Tyler Warren, the tight end from Penn State. 11, Will Johnson, the corner from Michigan, to the 49ers. And that goes to number 12, the Dallas Cowboys. And he says he thinks Dallas is going to look at all the offensive playmakers. They need a wide receiver, too, to take some load off of CeeDee Lamb. But he's not sure if Matthew Golden or Teteroa McMillan will go quite this early. He's got the Cowboys taking Omarion Hampton, the running back from North Carolina, at the 12th pick, which feels like an obscene stretch. But what are you going to – I'm not surprised at this somehow. I don't like this pick at all for the Cowboys. I would be much more happy with the Cowboys taking a receiver at 12 or taking a fat person on either side of the ball at 12 and then taking running back later on in the draft. They do need to address running back, certainly, but first round is not the place to take running backs, in my opinion. Jahdae Barron, the corner from Texas, goes 13 to the Dolphins. Other notable names, Matthew Golden, the wide receiver from Texas, goes 16 to Arizona. Kelvin Banks, Texas offensive tackle, goes 18 to the Seahawks. The aforementioned Teteroa McMillan, wide receiver from Arizona, goes 20 to the Broncos. Let's see, who else? 23, Mykel Williams, Georgia linebacker, to the Green Bay Packers. The Texans at 25, it's got them taking Josh Connerly, the offensive tackle from Oregon. Obviously, they need help protecting C.J. Stroud, and they traded away Laramie Tunsil, so I would assume offensive line is about the only way to go for the Texans. At 26, interesting pick, Jackson Dart to the L.A. Rams, the Ole Miss quarterback. Obviously, Matt Stafford restructure has him. He's going to be in L.A. for at least another season, but he's 37. You got to plan on the future. Maybe that's what they're doing here. And then number 29, Shamar Stewart, defensive end from Texas A&M, to the Washington Commanders. And then, of course, the Eagles picking dead last in the first round. They go with James Pierce Jr., the Tennessee linebacker. He's got a couple quarterbacks going off the board early in round 2. Tyler Shuck, the quarterback from Louisville, goes 33 to the Browns. Jalen Milroe from Alabama, 34 to the Giants. Emeka Egbuka, the wide receiver from Ohio State, 36 That's to the Jacksonville Jags. Luther Burden III, Missouri wide receiver, 38 to the Patriots. Travion Henderson, the Bears take the Ohio State running back at 41. 44, the Cowboys' second-round pick, Trey Amos, the corner from Ole Miss. I think with Deron Bland and Trayvon Diggs both missing a bunch of games, it makes sense to shore up that room as well. No other big names. Quinshon Judkins, another running back from Ohio State, goes 51 to Denver in round 2. Nick Scourton, the defensive end from Texas A&M, it's got him dropping to 53. Not sure why he's dropped so far, but he has. And Isaiah Bond, receiver from Texas. 3 receivers from Texas going in the first 2 rounds. Carolina at 57 listed for him there. And, yeah, nobody else really of note in the second round. So there you go. That's what Mel Kiper at least thinks is going to happen. The Cowboys, again, running back feels like a luxury when the rest of your team was so bad last year. I don't know that anybody's going to have a lot of success running behind the offensive line that they have. I don't know that CeeDee Lamb can really get any better until they put someone else next to him. I think that they need to find a way to get better at stopping the run. I know they just recently used a first-round pick on defensive line. It didn't work. You swing and miss sometimes, and it looks like the Cowboys swung and missed. You got to go back to the well. You got to build those trenches, and the Cowboys don't seem interested in that. It looks like they are going to get something shiny in this draft, and taking a running back in round 2 or in round 1, like I said, I don't think is a sound strategy. But the Cowboys not really known for being the most sound organization when it comes to personnel. It is true. They do need everything, and they do need help at running back
and help at wide receiver, of course. Yeah.
But truthfully, you can find running backs. Running backs are, I don't want to say a dime a dozen, but you can find them.
What about Scatterboo?
Yeah, you can get him way later. Now, what you can't get is impactful offensive linemen later in the draft, impactful defensive linemen later in the draft. That's the stuff that you want to spend your higher picks on. But one thing we know about Jerry loves a shiny thing. And running backs are shiny, man. Running backs are shiny. That's his
new toy.
I tend to agree. That's exactly where they're going to go. It's going to be some pick that we go, really? That's what they're doing. Speaking of the Cowboys, they've got 10 picks in the draft. 1 pick in every round but the 4th. At least 1 pick in every round but the 4th. 2 in the 5th, 6th, and 3 in the 7th. But the first 3 picks are the big ones, obviously. They've got the 12th, 44th, and 76th. But they're saying that they believe the way they approach the offseason has set them up to be successful in the draft. It's a little weird to me, but they've added defensive tackle Solomon Thomas. They added Dante Fowler. They added Peyton Turner. They added some running backs, Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams, which kind of makes it even crazier that they would take a running back in the first round. They traded for a backup quarterback, traded for Kyer Elam, who's, by the way, terrible. They've patched some holes, but this is what Stephen Jones said. Part of what we do in free agency is to make it where hopefully there's a great player sitting there with each pick that we really like. We don't want to be nailed down to, hey, it's got to be a defensive lineman, or it's got to be a receiver, or it's got to be a linebacker or a running back. Let's see what comes to us. And Brian Schottenheimer said best player available is what they want to do with the 12th pick. And he said, we don't ever want to pick 12th again, all right? Let's be honest. We don't want to. We don't want to pick that high, but you're looking for guys that influence the game. How do you influence the game? You rush the quarterback. You get sacks, strip sacks, fumbles, whatever it is. You score touchdowns. Okay, you build it from the outside in, so you got corners, receivers. They got isolated one-on-one, pass rushers, tackles. They get isolated one-on-one. Then obviously the quarterback position. So he's saying the opposite of what I think. He's saying build from the outside in. Doesn't seem like he cares about offensive and defensive line. But he also, in the same breath, will say, we've got to be a more physical team. Well, I got news, friend. You don't become a more physical team by drafting from the outside in. That's not how it works. If you want to be more physical, that means you have to get better at fat guy positions. That's what more physical means. That's what more physical football boils down to, is having bigger and stronger people than the other team. I don't know what the Cowboys are going to do. My guess is Mel Kiper's more accurate than what Stephen Jones is saying. I do think, and again, when you consider the fact that they brought in Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams, neither who I think are like great shakes at running back, I would think that running back would be the last thing they do in the first-round pick. My guess is that's more likely than not to be what they do. I think it's either a wide receiver or a running back in round one. I know a lot of Cowboys fans are happy about that. I just don't know if it's the answer, mostly because I don't know if, like Tyler Guyton, who they took a year ago, I don't know if Tyler Guyton's good. So if you took another offensive lineman, tackle, guard, whoever, and you were to move Guyton inside or move him to the right side even, I'm not mad at that. I think the Cowboys do have flexibility in that you can see them drafting almost any position on the board except for quarterback because they need help at pretty much every position on the board. So it's not going to be a shock to me if they take a wide receiver. Won't be a shock to me if they take a fat guy. Won't be a shock, unfortunately, if they take a running back or a cornerback. Those are all things I could see them doing and it's not because they've done such a good job. Like Stephen Jones makes it sound like we've done such a great job building this team in free agency that we can get the best player. No, I just think you've done such a poor job of building this roster that there are holes everywhere that need to be filled. And that's why you can pick the best player available. All right, let's hit a break. We'll come back. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
A lot of people argue that the best breed of dog is a lineage called the Rescue. They're right. That's why we're asking San Antonio Sports Star listeners to help no-kill rescue agencies around San Antonio with food that these pups need. They're all good dogs. They just need a chance. The voice of the National Dog Show, John O'Hurley, will join the Sports Star guys all day Friday, April 11th for the 2025 Puppy Food Bank Radiothon. Sponsored by Thomas J. Henry, the Institute for Functional Health, Big State Financial, G2Fi Shoes, Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat and AC, Ponderosa Ranch, Mr. W Fireworks, and Fifi and Fido's Pet Boutique. So lend a helping paw during the 2025 Puppy Food Bank Radiothon, Friday, April 11th, with 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Progressive understands that bond between you and your boat. But imagine if something happened to it. Without the boat, you're just Tina with too much boat knowledge. Sure, it's helpful on the water, but with no boat, you're someone who talks way too much about knots, and no one cares what a jib is anyway. Boat Tina could get away with it because she has a boat. So make sure your boat is insured. Get Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer, and then go back to being you, Tina, who owns a boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
I hope you did wash yourself clean underneath a Kinetico water softened shower. If you did, carry on about your day. You're doing things right. For the rest of those out there that might not have a Kinetico, maybe invested poorly, or maybe don't have one at all, I want you to listen real close. For those of you unaware, Kinetico's been around San Antonio for years. As long as I've been a homeowner, and that's been through 2 centuries, I've had a Kinetico water softener, and I don't see any change ever coming because they have taken care of me and done everything they said they were going to do from the moment we began doing business. Kinetico's made in the United States. They've got the awards to prove the quality of merchandise. That goes without saying. If you talk to your neighbors, they'll talk about the longevity. I've got a warranty on mine I've never actually used. Kinetico is by far the softener you need in this side of the world. Now, some things you need to know. Now's the time to go and get involved with Kinetico. Write this number down first, 656-PURE, P-U-R-E. If it's time for a new water softener, call them today. There's money in your old water softener. There's some trade-in value there. They'll pay you for it, up to $400. If you're ready to go ahead and get involved, there are great financing rates going on right now, 0% and all that. If you need some convincing, if you'll call 656-PURE today, Connecticut will come out and put the water softener in your home for 90 days so you see what we're talking about. And if you decide it's not what I said it is, or it's not what you wanted, 90 days they're going to come get it and you'll never spend a penny. But once you decide, and I'm sure you will, there's a little bit extra there. If you go ahead and purchase within the next 90 days, you're going to walk away with one of those reverse osmosis drinking stations up on your sink, one of those things that replaces all the water bottles. Make sure you got ready access to pure, perfect water for the dog bowl, for your coffee cup, wherever it might be, right there on the sink. And that's just a little bit added value. I had to pay for it. You'll get it for free. The number you need is 656-PURE. If you need more details, then I know I would, go to ConnecticutSA.com for all the deets. But listen close. There's never been a better time to get a Connecticut, the best water softener for your most important investment, your home. Call them today, and I know you'll come on by and thank me later.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio where I've practiced for more than 30 years. And San Antonio has really grown since I started practicing law. The risk of injury in a car crash today is greater than it's ever been, because every day we're forced to share our roads with 80,000-pound 18-wheelers and some truly dangerous drivers. If you or a family member is injured in a car crash, know this: the insurance companies are mobilized against you. They have highly trained adjusters and a long roster of attorneys with one job: pay as little as possible. Their techniques are extensive, and I believe you have zero chance of obtaining a fair recovery on your own. If you're involved in a car crash, you need to hire an attorney as soon as possible after the collision and before you speak to the insurance company's adjusters. Now, I do not have a comic book nickname. I do not call myself the Law Eagle, the Tiger Lawyer, the Law Chupacabra. I think the practice of law needs to be taken more seriously. If you've been injured, call me, Jason Thompson, for a free consultation. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400, or my website, alawyerforus.com.
Look, there's feelings, and then there's the facts. If you're feeling like your finance team is bogged down in mundane manual tasks, the fact is, you need Ramp. Ramp is the corporate card that makes the expense process fast and easy. The moment your team makes a purchase, Ramp handles everything. Receipt collection and approvals, the works. With Ramp, you can cut your month-end close from 5 days to 1, customize approval workflows, and get complete control over every transaction. Facts. Over 25,000 businesses trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is why they were just named #1 in spend management by G2. Facts. Start using Ramp and you'll have more time to spend scaling your business. And that'll feel really good. Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's RAMP.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half-off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Folks, right now is the ideal time to get ready for the summer season with the Quarter Moon AC $58.99 preseason special. It's a real home run. You'll have your AC ready before the summer heat hits. We'll inspect your AC's indoor and outdoor coils, filters, temperature levels, and make sure you're ready for the summer heat, all just for $58.99. So when your AC is warming up, Quarter Moon comes in like a heavy hitter.
Hey, batter, I'm gonna give it some heat.
651-5899.
License number TACLA 141074EM16004.
This ad is brought to you by Care for the Injured, which is not a law firm. Past results don't guarantee future outcomes. Recovery depends on case details. Did you or a loved one take the birth control shot Depo-Provera and later develop a brain tumor? You are not alone. Thousands of women in the U.S. have been affected and deserve compensation. Depo-Provera, a widely used birth control injection, has been linked to serious brain tumors like meningiomas. If you use Depo-Provera for at least a year and were diagnosed with a brain tumor, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Our network of attorneys fight for the rights of women like you, women who were never warned about the risk of birth control shots. Our caring legal team is standing by to help you get the justice and compensation you deserve. The sooner you call, the sooner we can begin working on your case. Call 800-298-5126 now for a free confidential case review. That's 800-298-5126. Call 800-298-5126.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, we have a national champion in college basketball. The Nets were cut down in the Alamo Dome.
Of course, we'll have all the reaction from last night in the Dome. The latest on the Cowboys in the NFL, Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk. She joins us at 5:15.
The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You're locked on The Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
It's showtime!
Got nothing on my brain. That's what people say. That's what people say. Come on, Vic. You go on too many dates. That's what people say. That's what people say. I keep cruising. Can't stop, won't stop.
Been a while since I played Taylor.
I know, I love it. In myself saying it's gonna be all right. Haters gonna play, and the haters gonna hate. I'm just gonna shake. Shake it off. Heartbreaker's gonna break. And the baker's gonna bake, baby. I'm just gonna shake. Shake it off, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, good news for college hoops. Most watched Final Four since 2017.
What?
How about that? Yeah. The numbers came out, and now more numbers will come out today for how last night's game did. Houston Duke, the most watched game of the NCAA tournament, averaged 16 million viewers. The Florida Auburn game is the most watched early Final Four game since 2017. They averaged 14.6 million viewers. Tournament viewership across TBC, TBS, CBS, TNT, and True TV averaged 9.9 million viewers per game, up 2% from last year. Saturday's games, the most watched Final Four in 8 years, averaged 15.3 million viewers, up 19% from last year, and it peaked at 20.4 million viewers. And those numbers are expected to increase when the final numbers come out today. So if nothing else, it doesn't seem that the average viewer seemed to mind the chalky bracket, all four number ones making it. If anything, it made it even an easier watch. 2017, if you recall, was North Carolina over Gonzaga. That was the first Final Four appearance in Gonzaga's history, as well as, I think, first in South Carolina's history. But the final was North Carolina over Gonzaga. So that's where the bar was set. This is the best one since then. And it's pretty good. And again, those numbers might go up. I don't know how many people watched last night. We'll find that out today. But I would imagine that it's pretty good numbers, man. Again, this is getting the 4-1 seeds. There are people who complain, like diehard people who I want to have a Cinderella. I think most people just want to see the best teams play. I know that's all I wanted. I didn't care. I didn't care about some scrubby team being there that we knew wasn't going to win anyway. I don't need that. J-Rod says, what about the ladies tournament? The lady basketball matches, last year there was 14.2 million people watched. The previous record before that was 9.92. That was LSU Iowa, so that was another Caitlin Clark one. The ratings this year were right around 7 million, so about half what they were last year. But you do have to put it into perspective that, the Final Four delivered 4 million, which was a 64% drop. But again, you have to put into perspective that even though it was a 64% drop from last year, it's still the third most viewed Final Four in lady basketball history. The Texas-South Carolina game averaged 3.6 million viewers. The South Carolina and UConn, the national title game, last year was 18.9 million. The year before, like I said, 9.9, and then 4.9 in the Final Four. I think we're going to see those numbers as well today on the national championship game. So either way, I would say it's not bad news for Lady Basketball. It's just non-Caitlin numbers. That's what you're going to get now. Lady Basketball is never going to have a 19 million viewer thing again. That's never, ever, 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 ever going to happen. So I think they all understood that too. And I'm guessing that's why everybody who said, "Oh, we got to invest in Lady Basketball. We got to spend all our money advertising in the Lady Basketball tournament." ESPN said, "We got to buy all these Lady Basketball games." And then now they're not getting nearly what they got the last 2 years. They're like, what the hell? We thought this was like the next big thing. No, that was the Caitlin Clark thing. That came and went.
She's gone.
It's gone. It's gone. It's never coming back. I have an interesting thought about Florida and whether or not Florida is a feel-good story, because there is some, like I mentioned, this is the first national champion with no 5-star recruits, I think, in the last 20 years or something like that. It's a team that made a lot of comebacks, but it's not all peaches and cream with this Florida team. I don't know if you guys recall, first of all, no one really talked, and again, I didn't watch the broadcast, the TV broadcast, so maybe I'm mistaken. I'm guessing, and Brigade Bard, let me know, was it ever brought up that Todd Golden earlier this year had a Title IX complaint against him where he was stalking and harassing female students on campus? Did they talk about that on the broadcast at all? I'd love to know, because that actually happened. I'm not sure that it would be something that they would want to bring up, but this season, Todd Golden there were allegations, quite frankly, pretty detailed allegations, that he was stalking and sexually harassing female students on campus. Now, the university did its own investigation back in January, and they said, I don't see anything here. And they never really mentioned it again. It just kind of got swept under the rug. Wow. So, listen, I'm not saying that, I don't know that it's, maybe they did find evidence that there's nothing there, and maybe he is really a good guy and didn't do any bad things. But I do think it's odd that the allegations just aren't discussed anymore. Texas fired their coach he was accused of hitting his wife. They did it like there was a legal investigation. He ended up getting cleared of everything. Now, I don't know that means that he didn't do it. I have my own opinions. I'll keep them to myself on whether I think he did or not.
Yeah. It's one of those, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty.
Right? I'm not here to say the justice system is wrong.
Yeah.
But all the charges were dropped, and it's not like he's not at Texas anymore. He's still fired. I don't know. What I do know is it seems like if you want to, the people who wanted to ignore what Todd Golden's allegations were, it's going to be real easy to do it now. Because now, instead of being a coach who's been accused of stalking students on campus, he's now a national championship coach. And my guess is he's about to get a massive contract extension from Florida, which, again, he's a hell of a coach. I just don't know if he's a good guy or not. Now, does that mean that he's not a deserving champion? No, it's not what I'm saying. I just think it's we always try to find the feel-good story, and the feel-good story for Florida has been Walter Clayton, who was, again, a 0-star recruit that Rick Pitino said was too fat and slow to play, and it is now, probably a first-round pick and was the most outstanding player of the tournament. But it's also there. You know what? There's another thing about this team that's worth noting that is a little bit of a bummer if you're a college sports fan, and we'll kind of get into that on the other side. And again, I'd love to get the thoughts from the people on whether or not they are cool with this Florida team and what they sort of represent, because when we talk about ratings and Cinderellas and things like that, Florida is kind of the reason why there's probably not going to be any more Cinderella stories. So we'll talk about why next. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1. I got to tell you about my new friends over at Manrique Custom Vision. That's right, friends. If you're a person wearing glasses or contacts and you've been telling yourself for a long time, man, I'm going to get rid of these things. I'm tired of putting in my contacts every morning. I'm tired of taking them out every night. I'm tired of having to drop this stuff in my eyes. It sucks. I'm tired of wearing my glasses. Well, good news, friend. You don't have to anymore because Manrique, they have you covered. It is a blade-free, pain-free LASIK, totally safe, totally comfortable, and will give you the best possible vision without glasses and contacts. Dr. Manrique has been doing this for over 25 years. He's done over 72,000 laser corrections. That's a crazy number, 72,000. And guys, you might be thinking, oh, it's expensive. I don't know. Well, good news, friends. They offer financing free up to 36 months, financing, interest-free. Give them a call today, 210-354-2020. Set up an appointment. Come see the Manrique difference for yourself. This is the best technology, the best doctor. You're going to be glad you did it. Manrique Custom Vision, 210-354-2020. Tell them you heard about it right here on the Morning Huddle.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Checking the cameras and maps right now. We are in good shape, but pretty much most all our major freeway systems are rolling slowly. It's stop and go along 1604 westbound from Bitters on over to I-10. 281 southbound also stop and go 1604 to Bitters. The 20-minute ride on 90 eastbound 211 over to Hunt Lane. And on 35 southbound FM 3009 on down to Thousand Oaks, about 15 minutes. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? Whether you're a local shop or global enterprise, Bank of America gives you access to a range of business solutions to help make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/bankingforbusiness.
Join us for San Antonio's premier fiesta event, Taste of the Northside, presented by HEB, Thursday, May 1st at 6. Experience gourmet food and wine tastings, sip on elevated spirits and cold brews, and enjoy live entertainment at our new location, The Rock at La Cantera. All proceeds benefit Brighton Center, serving children with disabilities and developmental delays in San Antonio. Limited all-inclusive tickets are $300 in advance and can be purchased at tasteofthenorthside.org. Viva Fiesta!
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney and have been representing people injured in auto and commercial truck collisions right here in San Antonio, my hometown, since 1994. Getting into a collision can be a life-altering event. Your health and recovery is the only thing that really matters, and anyone that's ever been injured in a traffic collision will tell you that. How do you get the insurance company to pay? Simple. Call me. As your attorney, my job is to get you through this. The decisions you make immediately after a collision are the most important decisions you can make. If you call me as soon as you can after a collision, I will help you make the right decisions for you and your family. Remember, I do not charge for a consultation. Growing up on the southwest side of San Antonio, when Loop 410 was the edge of town, I know how overwhelming it could be to face a giant insurance company all on your own. Just keep it simple. Call me. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 900-0400. Or go to my website at lawyerforus.com.
If you've been waiting and waiting to get your eyes taken care of, tired of wearing those glasses, tired of wearing those contacts, what are you waiting for? Now is the time to get it done. At Manrique Custom Vision Center, Dr. Manrique prides himself in getting you out of those glasses or contacts with his blade and pain-free LASIK, which is totally safe and comfortable. It will give you the best possible vision, and you can throw out the glasses and contacts. They've got over 25 years of experience, and they've done over 72,000 laser vision corrections. They offer financing to all with up to 36 months interest-free. Give them a call today to set it up. 210-354-2020. Come and see the Manrique difference for yourself. Every patient benefits from a customized vision plan that they bring to life with state-of-the-art technology, a variety of options to help make your treatment an investment you can afford and the right people. Change your vision, change your life today. It's Manrique, 210-354-2020.
When your business needs an electrician, for over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. Powered by relationships with dedicated estimators who analyze the issue, research cost-effective solutions, and clearly communicate the options without charging you a dime. A proven process that allows you to continue focusing on your unique purpose. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or hill-electric.com.
Calling all snack MVPs, it's time to huddle up with Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, the low-carb, high-protein snack with a flavor-packed crunch. From sea salt and cracked black pepper to hot honey, sweet barbecue, and more, these bold bites are ready to tackle your crunch time cravings. Find your flavor playbook at H-E-B and make every bite count. Because when it's crunch time, there's only one snack you need on your team. Southern Recipe Small Batch.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
All right. 8:40 on the Morning Huddle. It's a Rob-free huddle today. You miss him, Vic?
Yeah, he's always talking about something out of the ordinary.
Yeah. I miss him because I just feel like I'm talking to myself. Some people like doing radio by themselves. I like to have someone to I like to have someone to talk to. I like having a buddy. And you can be my buddy, but you're busy in there.
Yeah, I'm busy in here.
And we didn't get breakfast tacos this morning.
I know. What a day for Edwin not to be here.
Yeah. Everybody took the day off after the big game last night. Here's the thing about this Florida win. And again, I mentioned the accusations against Todd Golden and how I really don't know I don't know how much of the games you watched, Vic. Did you know that about him?
Yeah, I knew about it.
So you knew that he was a little stalkery?
Yeah, a little bit.
I was
wondering, like,
did you hear
how
about
was
it?
He still there?
Did you hear about it on the Final Four, or did you hear about it before?
No, before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much they brought it up in the Final Four broadcast. I would imagine
think they would have brought it up
because they love the Final Four to be like, this is the culmination of our big event. This is how we're so great. They don't want to bring up negative stuff. You know what I mean? Right. They don't want to bring up, if O.J. Simpson played college basketball, they wouldn't want to bring up O.J. Let's just put it that way. So anything bad that Todd Golden did, they don't want to bring that up. They want it to be a good story, which I get, but it's hard to pretend that it didn't happen. Now, on an actual basketball level, what did happen this year is we had all number one seeds. We had teams that, the Cinderellas that we normally have, those teams went home early. And again, I don't really have a big problem with that. I want to see the best teams playing at the end of the year. But part of what people have always loved about the tournament is the idea that the mid-majors can pop up and compete. And I think Florida, more than anybody, is the best example of why that is coming to an end. Now, everybody is using the transfer portal. You in 2025, 2024, 25. What year is it? 2025,
25,
right?
yeah.
That's what I thought.
I know,
Can you tell I went to bed after midnight last night?
Yeah, you only had a few hours sleep. You're good.
I didn't even drink. I didn't even drink yesterday. How about that? But in 2025, if you're not taking advantage of the transfer portal, you're going to fall behind. But what we're seeing with Florida is you're seeing teams go out and build their rosters by poaching the best players from the mid-majors and just offering money that their schools can't match. And again, it's within the rules, but if you're a basketball purist and you like the idea of a Cinderella, teams like Florida are why it's not going to happen anymore. Walter Clayton, the best player on Florida, has not always been at Florida, believe it or not. He started his career at Iona, playing for Rick Pitino. And then Rick Pitino left, and who came through with the biggest bag for Walter Clayton? You guessed it, the Florida Gators. Will Richard. I have an affinity for Will Richard because Will Richard played at one of the schools I'm matriculated at. He played at Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee. Guess what happened? He played there for 1 year. Then Florida. Hey, Will, we're here with the money. You want to come with us? And Will Richard said, yeah, I like money. And then, Belmont goes back into the toilet where they belong, I guess. Well, Belmont actually pretty decent low major college basketball program.
still.
They've done okay in their span. And then Elijah Martin, who is a grad student, spent his entire career at Florida Atlantic, went to a Final Four with Florida Atlantic, which, by the way, this is the first time since I want to say there were two players ever in history who have played in Final Fours for two different teams. And then this year, there's multiple players that did it on these two teams. LJ Cryers, but this was a Final Four with his second team. Elijah Martin at a Final Four with his second team. It had only happened 2 times in history before this season. So that's going to start happening more now. But Elijah Martin transfers to Florida. Why? Because they've got the most money. They had the most money to offer him. So if you're a fan of these Florida Atlantics or these Belmonts or these Ionas and you want these upsets to happen, the reason why they're not going to happen is because if those teams have any semblance of talent, these big money teams are going to come in and swoop in and take them away. And the truth is, Florida Atlantic and Iona and Belmont can't afford to pay what a team like Florida can pay. And this isn't just Florida, mind you. I mean, Duke does this. Houston does this. All of these, Auburn did it. John I. Broome came from Morehead State. All these teams do it. But I'm just saying Florida's a great example because they've got 3 starters that they poached from mid-major programs. And while everyone is saying it's such a shame that there were no upsets this year, this is why. So I think it's yet another reason why people are going to look at this Florida team and say, this isn't exactly a feel-good story. Now, with like Duke, for example, Duke is still the best team when it comes to recruiting high school talent. So their 3 best players were all freshmen. Do they poach talent from other schools? Of course they do. Like I said, everybody's got to do it now. But they built their roster. The core of their roster was built with guys that they found and recruited the old-fashioned way, not stealing from a small school. And quite frankly, guys like Cooper Flagg was never going to end up at Belmont anyway. So there's nothing to be stolen from there. Most of these guys who end up at those schools either have grade issues or, well, not at Belmont. You got to have pretty good grades there, or they've got there's something in Walter Clayton's case. Walter Clayton he was a 0-star recruit. He didn't have any high major offers. So they waited until Iona developed him a little bit, and they said, okay, now we'll take you. So it's almost like they're using these schools as a minor league. Again, Am I thinking that's wrong? I don't know. It's not a big deal to me, but I know the people who were mad about it. This is the trade-off. This is the trade-off of letting these players basically transfer where they want and to wherever they have the most money is. This is going to be the deal now. You're not going to see these big upsets from these small teams. Florida's the first team in history without a player who came out of high school in the top 100 of recruiting rankings. The first team ever to win a championship. They had 0 players who were in the top 100 of their class, and they won a championship. And the question is how? Well, because they let somebody else develop them, and then they came with the money. And it's cheaper to get those guys than it is it's cheaper and it's less work to get those guys and have somebody else develop them than to get like a Cooper Flagg, who you're going to have to pay a bunch of money up front, or to take those type of players and develop them yourself. You know, if Todd Golden really didn't care about recruiting rankings, he'd take a bunch of 1-stars and 2-stars and crank them up himself. That's not what he's doing. This isn't like the little engine that could. This isn't a feel-good story about a bunch of low-ranked guys who came together and won a title. This is about guys who robbed from the poor and basically won a championship. Jose says Kansas had the worst transfer portal team. They may have, but Kansas, at least, they were stealing from Michigan. They're not taking from the little bitty schools that have no recourse. If Michigan wanted to pay for Hunter Dickinson, they probably could have matched what Kansas offered on Hunter Dickinson. They chose not to, and then Michigan ends up winning the Big Ten, and Kansas sucked. So I think Michigan probably feels like they made the right move. But that to me, it's a little bit different when a high major steals from another high major. You know what I mean? That's why when Houston gets L.J. Cryer from Baylor, okay, that's going to happen. Like in those cases, it's more likely that, and I'm pretty sure this is, and I'm not that L.J. Cryer didn't get some money, but L.J. Cryer left Baylor because when he went to the Final Four with Baylor, he played like 20 minutes in that entire tournament. He just wasn't a key piece of what they were doing. So he said, I'm going to go to Houston where they've told me I'm going to be a key piece of what they're doing. Jeremy Roach, another great example. Jeremy Roach, who spent, 4 years at Duke, goes to Baylor, to another high major school. And again, all these guys are going to get some money, so I'm not going to say money didn't play a role in it. But basically, the reason why Jeremy Roach left is Duke told him, hey, dude, your job isn't going to be the same here anymore. You're not going to be running the point for us. You're not going to be like the go-to ball handler anymore. Do with that what you will. So Jeremy Roach said, all right, I guess I'm going to go to Baylor. Those things are going to happen. And I guess when it's big dog robbing from another big dog, I don't feel bad for him. But I do kind of feel for these small programs. And if you're a person who likes the upsets in March Madness, you should too, because what Florida is doing is, like when I talk about the little engine that could, all they're doing is stealing the best parts from the people who can't afford to build their own super engine. So they're stealing the catalytic converter off the Cadillac down the street, and there's no recourse for these other schools. So it's in a way it sucks, but it's just kind of the way things are going to go from now on. So again, when people were talking about Florida like as some feel-good story because they didn't have any 5-star recruits, they didn't have any top 100 kids, I don't look at it that way. I look at it more, they weren't really even going after those kids because they knew they were going to let somebody else develop these kids, these lesser kids, into good players and then take them. And Rob mentioned as much. He said Florida has come out and said, yeah, we're going to go after the bigs. And you notice their bigs are from foreign countries. They have an Aussie big. They've got a Nigerian big. So they're going out and they're spending a lot of recruiting budget on going and finding bigs because bigs are harder to find. Especially there's just not as many of them. So when there is a premium one, you got to pay premium bucks for it. Whereas guards, dudes like Walter Clayton, who's a 0-star recruit, by the time he's done at Iona, you can tell he's better than a 0-star recruit, and he's a little pissed off that no one ever recruited him. So Todd Golden's swooping in, hey, I'll give you some money. I'll treat you right. Well, if Todd Golden was such a genius, why didn't he see Walter Clayton 3 years ago and say, hey, this guy's pretty damn good? No, he didn't see that. He waited until somebody else did it, and then he stole it from Iona. Again, I mean, Iona, Rick Pitino left. I don't blame Walter Clayton. You got to do what's best for you. And Walter Clayton has turned himself from a 0-star prospect into now an NBA draft prospect. A lot of credit deserved for him and for Todd Golden for continuing his development. But let's not act like this is some sort of feel-good story that Florida's doing because they won it with a bunch of low-end, quote-unquote, low-end recruits, because they didn't pick these guys up when they were low-end recruits. They waited until someone else built them up and then stole from those schools. So don't act like this is some sort of a heartwarming story. This is no Disney movie, friends. This is no Disney movie.
Yeah. They knew what they were doing.
They did.
Yeah.
All right. We got 1 hour of show left, Vic. I think we're going to make it.
We should be all right.
I'm catching my second win. Even though I didn't get a breakfast taco today, I could have used a carne asada and an a la Mex. Oh, that would have been so good.
That would have
spicy.
been good. Yeah, that would have hit the spot.
Maybe later. It's the Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Riding the work with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. It's the Morning Huddle, KTFM Floresville.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? Whether you're a local shop or global enterprise, Bank of America gives you access to a range of business solutions to help make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business.
My name is John. I could not lose the weight I needed to. The Institute for Functional Health Wellness Program was the answer. It included a great deal of testing, supplements, and weekly face-to-face doctor visits. I finally had the accountability I needed. I am now 50 pounds lighter. I no longer have pain in my elbow, back, and hips. I have more energy and just feel and look so much better.
Call for your complimentary consultation, 210-468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Texas coastal waterfront properties starting at only $49.9?
That's right. Driftwood Acres at Wolf Point, located on the highly sought-after Matagorda Bay, is extending their grand opening for 1 day this Saturday. Book your private tour to see 1 to 3 acre properties, all with bay access, starting at just $49.9. Yes, just $49.9. This gated waterfront community features panoramic views, world-class fishing, resort-style pool and cabana, community fishing pier, boat and RV storage, and so much more. It's happening Saturday, April 12th, 1 day only. Coastal waterfront property starting at an unbelievable $49.9. Just $49.9. Call to book your private tour or for information for this Saturday. 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Appointments are limited, so call now. 210-853-0389. Texas waterfront properties will never be more affordable. 210-853-0389.
Hi, I'm Jason Thompson. I'm a personal injury attorney, and since 1994, I've been helping people and their families seriously injured or killed by negligent drivers. My website is alawyerforus.com. I use that phrase because I know that there's no way a regular San Antonian can possibly beat $1 billion insurance company alone. You will need an experienced attorney to stand up for you and get what you and your family deserve. This month, my father will retire after 50 years of practicing law, doing what he taught me to do, help people in need. Stand up for the people that cannot. Use the skills you have to help the people in your community when and where you can. When an insured driver seriously injures someone, a billion-dollar insurance company uses everything it can to pay as little as possible. Every insurance company you have heard of has a very large staff of attorneys already working against you. If you or a family member has been seriously injured because of a negligent driver, call me, Jason Thompson, as soon as you can after a collision. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or check out my website, alawyerforus.com.
The Easter Bunny? He's lost his dazzle. His tail? Flatter than a pancake.
Yeah, no more poof, see?
And those eggs? They're supposed to be spiffy, colorful, full of magic, but they're drab, streaky, like they've been kissed by dust bunnies.
And when the cabbage we're shelling out for eggs, they ought to be the cat's pajamas. But nope, everything's on the fritz, and we know why.
Hard water.
Nasty build-up, filmy gunk. It's giving the whole shebang the heebie-jeebies.
It needs a Connecticut. Their line electric, high-efficiency water softness make water the bee's knees. Your skin, smoother than a gangster's alibi. And eggs?
Gleaming like gold in a G-Man's pocket.
For a limited time, get a free reverse osmosis drinking station, $400 off for trade-in, and 0% interest for 12 months. Call Connecticut of San Antonio and the Hill Country, 210-656-PURE. That's 210-656-PURE.
It's a limited time, so hop to it, see?
License number 38961.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Checking the cameras and maps right now. We are in good shape, but pretty much most all our major freeway systems are rolling slowly. It's stop and go along 1604 westbound from Bidders on over to I-10. 281 southbound also stop and go 1604 to Bidders. The 20-minute ride on 90 eastbound 211 over to Hunt Lane. And on 35 southbound, FM 3009 on down to Thousand Oaks, about 15 minutes. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The Florida Gators are national champions, erasing a 12-point second-half deficit before holding on for a 65-63 win over Houston. The Spurs have been eliminated from playoff contention, but they still have games to finish out the season, as tonight they take on the Clippers in L.A. Tip-off set for 9:30. I'm Vic Brown with 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
901 on the Morning Huddle. San Antonio Sports Star. Since Rob bailed on me, look who showed up. Look who's here.
You know, I got in trouble the other day for leaving the game early, although that was all Reinig.
Yeah.
And then I heard Rob was out. And I told you last night.
You told me.
I mean, Rob is missing the national championship game, and I've known Rob a long time. He doesn't get a little sick. He gets a lot sick. And then I was like,
it's all or nothing.
All or nothing. I mean, yeah, he's going to do it big. And so I thought, all right, well, I'll show up late to help you out because, final hour. I'm not waking up stupid early.
Yeah, I get that.
To help out. Although I heard there were breakfast tacos.
No,
and I don't see any.
There were none.
Oh, that was
because
the thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were supposed to get them today, but Edwin didn't show up either.
Where's Edwin?
I think he's sick or something too. I don't know. Maybe,
what are you guys doing here?
I don't know. Vic was sick for like 2 weeks. He was
Vic's always sick.
He was hacking a lung up all over the wall. He
almost lost my other kidney.
He threw up and a kidney fell out. It was gross.
It was
but he put it back.
Yeah, he put it back.
But
it's
yeah,
different.
that's good though.
First of all, a couple things. I hate when Florida wins anything and they inevitably it says champions. Like, come on. Are we still doing champion? Like,
come on.
It's too easy. It's low hanging fruit.
It is low hanging fruit.
Let's not do that. Secondly, Dave, I just went on a diatribe about how everybody who is complaining that there's no Cinderella stories anymore, Florida's kind of to blame because teams like Florida are just going and poaching all the talent from these low major teams and claiming them for their own, which leaves when you've got Iona's not going to match the money on that Florida can. So, and then Dave says, what a downer, AJ. Florida won. That's it. They did win. Now, I'm not taking anything away from it. I'm just saying, if you're one of these people who likes the Cinderella story, let's not pretend like Florida's not the reason why that's going away. And also, let's not pretend like their coach was not accused of being a stalker and a sexual harasser earlier in the season. It just happened.
To a degree, you're right. Now, I'm not going to blame Florida. I blame the system because all the big programs do that. And in today's world of college athletics, you get guys like Jeff Traylor. That's what he's worried about. I'm going to develop a guy, and you're going to come and pluck him. You look at Trey Moore out of Smithson Valley. He had no looks from places like Texas. Played great at UTSA, and
now he's gone.
And Sark said, "Here, come on up to Austin." And you can't blame
Here's your
guys.
bag.
That's the system. But I like a Cinderella until, I don't know, the Sweet 16 or Elite 8. I like my Final Four to be, blue bloods. Last time the Final Four was in San Antonio 7 years ago, we had Loyola here. The biggest star they had was Sister Jean, who's still with us, by the way, at 105 years old.
Yeah.
I like what we had in this Final Four. And you look at all of these programs are buying players. It's where are you shopping? Florida, as you were saying in the last segment, they went to places like Belmont and found some guys as opposed to plucking from another major school. But that's the world of college athletics now.
All I'm saying is let's not pretend like this is some sort of this feel-good story that this team that has no 5-star recruits, the first team with no 5-star recruits to win. Because they just poached everybody else's good players once they got them good.
You have to credit for knowing what to put in their Amazon cart and where to go find it. I mean, ultimately, I think you do celebrate what you saw from Florida because they did go out and get guys that nobody else wanted. I mean, Florida, with where their program was a couple of years ago, when you look at a guy like Walter Clayton, what other offers did he have? So, true.
Literally, his coach at Iona said, he is too fat and too slow to play for me.
Mm-hmm. I mean...
Now, Rick Pitino, not much of a mincer of words.
Well, you appreciate the honesty, although you look at what that kid made some money this week. I'm not sure where he was going to be on most draft boards prior to the Final Four. Late first round, early
he was not going to be a first rounder before this weekend.
Depending on what you read. I mean, I don't know, right?
Because he's fat and slow, they said.
And, I got to be honest. I was about from me to you with him last night on the floor, and
he's smaller than I am.
He's smaller than you. He ain't much bigger than me. Although most, but he's a little pudgy, right? I mean, I could see where Rick Pitino would say something, but also sometimes you wonder with an old school coach like Rick, is he just ball busting?
Yeah.
To get him into the gym and maybe put the bag of chips down and mix in a salad, which I'm all against mixing in a salad.
Sure.
So I'm good with that. But that kid is there's just something about him, right? There is just something about him.
Did you walk away from that game last night feeling like Florida won it or Houston lost it?
A little bit of both. I can't say that was a Houston choke job like I felt Duke. Duke pissed it away. Florida coming into the game, and I like the way Todd Golden said it, and I'm paraphrasing, he said Florida's an elite offensive team and solid defensively. Houston was elite defensively and solid offensively, and I think we had that kind of game last night. The fact that they led for 1 minute and 3 seconds in the game, 17 seconds in the first half and 46 seconds in the second half, but they made the stops. The fact that Houston could not get a shot off. I think you have to credit Florida's defense more so than Houston pooping the bed at the end there.
Yeah, Will Richard forces Emmanuel Sharp to basically kick it off his knee once, and then Walter Clayton, who, if you want to complain about any part of his game, it's that he's not a great defender. He's the one who closed out on Sharp and forced him to put the ball on the floor. And so big defensive plays in big moments. It did feel kind of like, man, Houston had to come up with something better than they came up with. I thought they were going to look for a shot early in the clock and then hope to get an offensive rebound if they missed. It seemed like they were waiting for the last shot anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And Kelvin said in the postgame presser that he told Emmanuel that if they charged out at him, he's got the choice of a shot fake or driving around him. And it feels like he got caught in the middle. Like there was like a split second of, I'm going to shot fake. I'm going to go around him. And then he tried to do both, and it's illegal to do both. And then he just stood there. Dude, if you touch the ball, I get it. It's a turnover.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can commit a foul, and you've got another chance. You can't just sit there and stare at it.
I mean, he was boxing everybody out. Somebody come get this. You're right. In the moment, his awareness that I can't touch this, I appreciate it. But at the same time, clock is running. A championship is on the line in the moment where you're ready. If I'm going to blame anybody, I'm looking at Kelvin Sampson because –
who, by the way, just stood there stunned. He couldn't believe it was happening. Didn't move.
I mean, I think all of us were a little stunned with what we were seeing. But at the same time, you didn't come up with anything better in the final minute of that game. At one point, you had that lead, and as it went away, what did you do as the coach to try to stop it? And L.J. Cryer's their best player. And did he touch the ball in the final 45 seconds? Why was the ball not in his hands?
Well, remember, he gave it up. He had it, gave it right back up to Emmanuel. And I don't want to say he put some blame on his players, but he wasn't soft on his players in the postgame. You know, he mentioned J'Wan Roberts. He said, J'Wan Roberts has been one of our best guys all year. He said he had looks that he's made all season long that he just couldn't put in the basket. He had layups that he just missed because Evan Miyakawa, who is like, he runs a site called evanmia.com. It is the nerdiest of nerd sites for college basketball stat geeks. I mean, it is like there are numbers there that are very difficult to read and understand. It is the deepest dive into statistics that you can take in college basketball. And Evan Miyakawa was at the presser yesterday, and he said, Coach, you had the fewest assists in a game that you guys have had since 2020. And he said, tell me your name again. He said, Evan. And he said, Evan, you know what an assist is, right? Now, mind you, he's talking to the biggest stat geek in the world. He says, when we give it to a player, that player has to score for the assist to count. And J'Wan had plenty of chances to score, and we could have had those assists, but we didn't have them. And then at the end of it, he says, you're the stats guy, right? I think it was a little salt being flicked from Kelvin.
Wow. I mean,
but he had open opportunities, and they just missed them.
Well, that's it. They had 5 assists in the game. Houston did. And to your point, Roberts was 3 of 13. Uzan was 2 of 9. And there were some looks there that you expect them to knock down.
Yeah.
Was that poor shooting, Florida's defense, whatever the case is? But when Houston started rolling and they built that lead up with their defense, that's what they hang their hat on. For them to blow that lead, I mean, I think it was 6 or 8. We were like, all right, Houston doesn't give up this lead. Once it was multiple possessions, I thought it was done. So I credit Florida. They made the plays down the stretch.
I mentioned this earlier. I want to know if you got the same vibe. In the first half, there were 4 fouls called.
Here we go.
It felt like I'm a believer in this. However you want to call the game, whatever. But the way you call it in the first half tells the players how you're going to call the game.
Yep.
So to change that at halftime, because the game wasn't fundamentally more physical in the second half than it was in the first. Materially, it was the same style of play. The whistles were just getting blown in the second half that weren't getting blown in the first half. And if you blew the whistle the whole game, if you do that in the first half, Houston realizes, hey, we can't play like this. We got to back off some because it's going to be a quick whistle tonight. But when you give them freedom to play the way that Houston was playing in the first half, you can't change it in the second half. You can't change it once it becomes a 10-point deficit and say, well, we got to get this game. Because it feels like then you're saying we got to get this game closer.
Well, that's exactly what they did. I typically try not to be the blame the ref guy. But when the fans, and I think really fans from both sides, started chanting, refs, you suck, I had to agree with them because it was a completely different officiated game in the second half. Now, all the narratives, well, you know, they didn't want this to get out of hand, so let's bring it back and don't want to, look at the ratings. So we don't want people turning this off. I don't want to say the refs ruined what was a great game, but the refs certainly played a factor in the way that second half was played. I mean, you had both sides, and granted, both sides were booing the referees.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was a completely different officiated game in the second half with the same three referees. And you almost wonder, and because of things like that, it makes you do wonder, did somebody have a talk with them at halftime? Hey, boys, we can't have this, man. We're not
looking for a blowout here.
Yeah, we can't let Houston get away with this. I mean, rein it in. It almost feels that, and I hate that. But sometimes you watch a game and go, what the is going on? It's not one or two questionable whistles. It was just what you got away with in the first half, you weren't getting away with in the second half, and that's BS.
All right, let's give away some tickets to go see Trivium and Bullet for My Valentine, April 16th at the Boeing Center at Techport. Should be a fun show. Let's go caller number. Have you seen either of those bands, Jason? You're a band guy.
I've seen Bullet for My Valentine.
Okay,
yeah,
they're putting on a good show.
They're good. Yeah.
Let's go caller number 4.
You're easy.
Well, I mean, Vic's working in there by himself.
So does James.
Well, but
I
you
do
hate
18.
James. You hate James.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I like Vic. Vic,
he hooks me up.
He gives me Coke Zero sometimes.
Oh, really?
And he feeds my work cat. So that's
all
awesome.
right.
So let's go caller number 4, Trivium and Bullet for My Valentine, April 16th at the Boeing Center at Techport. Take a quick break. We'll be right back. It's the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Checking the cameras and maps right now. We are in good shape, but pretty much most all our major freeway systems are rolling slowly. It's stop and go along 1604 westbound from Bitters on over to I-10. 281 southbound also stop and go 1604 to Bitters. It's a 20-minute ride on 90 eastbound 211 over to Hunt Lane. And on 35 southbound FM 3009 on down to Thousand Oaks, about 15 minutes. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? Whether you're a local shop or global enterprise, Bank of America gives you access to a range of business solutions to help make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business.
If you woke up this morning feeling good about yourself, no pain keeping you out of your life, carry on about your day. You're doing things that we all hope to be. But if you're like most of us, there's something probably painful in your life that's keeping you out of the things you want to get done. Some of us were dealing with bad feet. A lot of us have lower back issues. Maybe it's those stress pains that start in the middle of your back and work your way up forward where you get all that tense in your shoulders and just kind of get yourself going. Arosty is out there to fix that. Arosty providers are highly trained medical professionals that take on above and beyond what they began in the business. What I'm saying is, to be an Arosty provider, you are already a physical therapist, a chiropractor, a general practitioner. You're already in the medical business, and you have achieved something higher, Arosty certification. And Arosty certification is a way of getting people out of pain in non-traditional ways. What I'm saying is, it has nothing to do with pills to dull the pain. It has nothing to do with some kind of long-term process to get you out of the pain. It's fixing the pain and fixing it fast. And let me tell you, it works. Now, for me specifically, it was lower back issues. I'd always had those twinges, those seizures, where they just kind of grab you and hold on for about a month, and you just kind of hope it lets go. I limped into an Arosty provider about 8 years ago, and not only did they fix me, they showed me how to fix it when it happened again. And from that point on, that problem was fixed. That's why I'm an Arosty patient and will be for life. That's why I referred my friends and my family to go, and that's why I'm telling you about it. So if you're dealing with pain right now, know there is an answer that can be fixed quickly. On average, under 4 visits, Arasti patients are back in the game. Here's what you need to know. You don't need a referral. You can call them right now, 1-800-404-6050. Their website is Arasti.com. There's a map of all the providers around San Antonio. I'll bet there's one less than 10 minutes from where you are now. Listen to me. Don't let pain keep you from doing things that you love. There's a fix. It's Arasti. Call them today. Let them take care of you. And when they do, come on by and thank me.
Hey, fellow Gen Xers, it's Elizabeth Banks. Big news! The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the charge. After all, we gave the world the internet. We're trailblazers. Let's lead the way again because we are at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Head to vaxassist.com and schedule today. That's vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Progressive understands that bond between you and your boat. But imagine if something happened to it. Without the boat, you're just Tina with too much boat knowledge. Sure, it's helpful on the water, but with no boat, you're someone who talks way too much about knots, and no one cares what a jib is anyway. Boat Tina could get away with it because she has a boat. So make sure your boat is insured. Get Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer, and then go back to being you, Tina, who owns a boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
Look, there's feelings, and then there's the facts. If you're feeling like your finance team is bogged down in mundane manual tasks, the fact is, you need Ramp. Ramp is the corporate card that makes the expense process fast and easy. The moment your team makes a purchase, Ramp handles everything. Receipt collection and approvals, the works. With Ramp, you can cut your month-end close from 5 days to 1, customize approval workflows, and get complete control over every transaction. Facts. Over 25,000 businesses trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is why they were just named #1 in spend management by G2. Facts. Start using Ramp and you'll have more time to spend scaling your business. And that'll feel really good. Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
This PGA Tour moment is brought to you by True Green.
After eagling 15 in a final round of the 1986 Masters, Jack Nicklaus realized he could win for the first time. He sat at 16 with a 5-iron in hand and 175 yards to the hole. With a ball in flight, his son caddying for him said, "Be right." Jack responded, "It is," and it landed 3 feet from the hole. Jack made birdie and went on to win his 6th and final Masters.
True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour.
A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out. That's where True Green comes in. They're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, so they know a thing or two about keeping grass looking like a fairway. It's more affordable than you think, and they'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Head to TrueGreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results.
Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Morning Huddle, 94.1, San Antonio sports star Jason Minnick's kind enough to sit in with me for the final hour of the program. He knew Rob wasn't going to be here, and he could have been here for the whole show.
It could have been.
But he said, no, I'm going to let him hang. I'm going to let him
I mean, I'll help you out. You know,
Right.
I don't mind helping, but
you weren't going to like work double.
Work like a
no. I mean, you know, I tried getting here by 8. Tried to help, do half.
But you couldn't get here at 8? Traffic was real bad?
No, I was asleep.
Oh, I thought the line in the tacos was too long.
No, I didn't get tacos. I was told there would be tacos here.
Oh, how great would it have been if Jason would have brought tacos? That would have been the real help. That would have been the real help.
You know, there's these little devices that would have said, you know, Edwin bailed too, so we have no tacos.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality.
What a disaster day. What a disaster day. I wanted to get your thoughts on the future of college hoops in San Antonio. Is your guess that this is the last time we see a Final Four here?
No. It will be a while. I mean, obviously the next 4 or 5 they're
already mapped out.
They're already mapped out, and weird that Indianapolis is getting 2 of them. The amount of money that they have spent on the Dome and the positive feedback that San Antonio always gets from the coaches, while it is a smaller building, although 66,000 last night.
I think it's the perfect size because it's smaller than a real football stadium and bigger than a real basketball arena.
Well, in talking with one of the bigwigs at Westwood One, he was talking about, man, I love this building because, you know, last year in Glendale, I mean, you know, you're 5 miles away, and even your courtside location, you need binoculars, right? It's one of those kind of things, but I do think
the Elite Eight in Indianapolis, there's like it's an awkward camera angle, like an unusual camera angle because they're not used to having that big of a building.
It's weird because I look at everything that goes back to New Orleans, and New Orleans is a great host city, like San Antonio is a great host city. The Superdome is what it is. The idea that there were 68,000 on Saturday night and announced crowd of 66 last night. You generally see on Monday a dip in attendance because people get the hell out of town. And I'm guessing either a lot of people, Dookie types, were able to sell their tickets. Houston people were scooping them up, and that makes sense. But when you look at future possibilities, I do think a lot of it will go into the Project Marvel vote. And will there be a lot of construction? Did that keep San Antonio from getting anything over the next couple of years? Because we do expect the new Wemby Center downtown where the Institute of Texan Culture is, that land bridge that they've talked about, whatever renovations happen to the Alamo Dome. So I think with all that in play, yes, there will be more Final Fours, but it will be a while. I mean, it was 7 years between the last one and this one. And I do think, and we could look this up, I think there's a regional coming and a women's tournament.
The women's Final Four is in 2029, I believe, or 27 or 29.
Exactly. So there are some things on the horizon, but the actual men's Final Four, I don't even know if we were competing to be in the next cut. I would assume we always are.
Yeah, you would think.
Saylock always is. But with the idea of a new Spurs arena downtown and everything that goes into it, when that all happens, not if, because we know it's going to happen, then I think you're back in the rotation.
Well, Jenny Carnes, who runs the San Antonio Sports, an organization that brings a lot of this stuff here, she basically said the NCAA told her, hey, we want to come back, but the Alamo Dome's got to get better.
Yeah.
And I know that the truth is, like San Antonio, like they were like, well, we spent $300 million on it, 5 years ago or whatever it was. Like the amount of money that has been the total amount of money invested into the Alamo Dome is like half of what it costs to build a modern NFL stadium.
Easily,
if that. And now I'm not saying that San Antonio should build an entire new stadium because if you don't have a team to put in it doesn't really make sense. But if you're not going to be that and you still want to be an event city, you have to have an event building. And the Alamo Dome is kind of turning into a dinosaur.
When you look at, and you're right, even though they've done some renovations, but the Alamo Dome lacks the bells and whistles that today's stadium and sporting events require. There's one level of suites, not two. All the different ways that they've talked about renovating the dome, whether it's lifting the roof to add in another section with some suites. Parking is always going to be an issue, concession stand lines, and you saw it this weekend. I mean, if you were in the dome, and the dome is what it is, but sometimes it sucks to go up there and get food. And Rob went to go get a hot dog. He was gone for like 45 minutes on Saturday night. And concession lines, and they've done a lot of things at the Alamo Dome to improve the overall fan experience. And it is far better now than it was. But at the same time, the concourses are congested. Lines happen. That quick serve area is great, but, that's just par for the course. It's weird if you've never been to the Alamo Dome for big events, and so anybody that's fairly new here, it is so much better, AJ, than it was 5, 6, 10 years ago, which is hard to believe because when you go to other stadiums around the country and you see what they have and how efficient those concession lines move, and then you come here, even though it's so much better, it still lacks. So I could see where Jenny would say that there has to be improvements made to the Alamo Dome to host these kind of events.
Yeah, I hope that because I mean, just talking to the people here, everyone's like, it's been great. San Antonio's been great, and San Antonio does seem like I mentioned it yesterday. New Orleans, I think, is the perfect comp because these are cities that are built exclusively to host these events. Like they are set up perfectly for them. But at the end of the day, you got to have the right. At some point, your building has to be a little bit up to snuff. And Vegas actually realized this when they were like Vegas was the fight capital of the world, and they had all these huge events. And the closest thing to a world-class arena that they had in Vegas was the Grand Garden Arena, which was nowhere near the size needed to host these mega events. And finally, they said, we've got to build a real arena. Otherwise, and it sort of coincided with getting the Golden Knights. That helped. But without that arena, it was like we're missing out on a chance to, like, there's more fights going to New York, more fights going to L.A. because we don't have the facility. It took them building the facility to kind of make sure, hey, we're going to be on top of this for a while.
Well, and even some of the fights that have come here, Canelo loves fighting in San Antonio. And, you go back, like the Alamo Dome opened in 1993. I remember my first event that I went to in the Alamo Dome was September 10th of 1993. Pernell Whitaker against Julio Cesar Chavez. And James Leha beat Azuma Nelson on the undercard. And one of my assignments, I was working at KTSA, and the news director there, Russell Scott, said,
"You were working it?"
Yeah.
I was 12 years old.
All the way up, so was I. Go all the way up to the top and see what the view is and talk to the people that are way up there. And I did, and it looked like, I was standing on the counter and 2 French fries were fighting on a napkin on the floor. Right. But the idea of if you build it, they will come. And obviously, San Antonio has been flirted with, and don't be surprised. And, the next 6-8 months with Cincinnati trying to figure out where they're going to go, San Antonio is going to be mentioned a lot, although it won't be in the Alamo Dome if an NFL team comes. So I do wonder how much that would play in, because San Antonio, Austin would have to share any kind of NFL team at the expense of. And then you're just like any other NFL city, which sucks. Like Arlington, you go to, like, they keep saying
North
the Final
Texas.
Four in North Texas because it's all over. The Super Bowl next year in San Francisco, the stadium's an hour away.
Yeah.
Gillette is over an hour outside of Boston. And San Antonio, our NFL team, if we get one, would be
an hour outside of
San
town.
Marcos,
New
Braunfels, Budas, somewhere in there.
Which, I mean, is better than not having one at all. Don't get me wrong.
I think I agree. 8 to 10 weekends a year, you can make that trek on a Sunday or a Thursday night or Monday night.
And for a Final Four?
And for a Final Four, we would all do it. Although you wonder with the Final Four, the beauty of San Antonio is
everything's
people come
walkable.
in, you don't have to rent a car. You left the Dome last night. Traffic was not bad.
Nope.
Not bad at all. I mean, a little bit of a delay. But
And I before the game, I walked from the Alamo Dome. I walked to the River Center, the Marriott River Center, because I saw the Houston team send off. Like I was in the hotel, watched all that, and then walked back before tip off. Like it's all right there.
It's easy.
It is very nice.
And that would be a change. Just being downtown. I don't know.
That's what people bitch about when there's big events in Houston.
Yep.
Is that the stadium is not downtown because it's like a 10-minute trek, but it's still a pain. People got to get in a bus and same they bitch about it in Arizona too. Anytime
it's forever
because it's not in Phoenix.
Glendale is so far away,
and it sucks, but it's still better to get those big events and have people bitch about the logistics of it than to not get the events at all.
100%. But you look at those extra seats, and I've always tried to figure out, like for the Final Four, from what I saw highlights wise, the dome looked great on television.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd shots look great. The fan experience, the music festival crowd. I haven't seen any of the video yet, but knowing that they were going to load those Gators up on the bus and do the river parade last night, I haven't seen any of those videos yet. Somebody sent them to me. But no other city can do that. Is it from the NCAA standpoint, a fan experience or a TV experience? Because on TV, everything in San Antonio looks spectacular.
Yeah.
The fan experience is spectacular from the point that people could walk. And I know our boss that's new in town, Dax, was asking me last night, so how are they going to get to the river? I was like, dude, it's right there.
Yeah.
Like all these people are going to get there. So, yeah, they're going to walk out of the building, walk across the bridge. They're going to be there, and those players are going on a bus, and it's the coolest thing you're going to see. No other city can do that.
George said, unfortunately, fans left the Alamo City not only disappointed in their loss, but the experience of vandalism of trucks broken into over the weekend. La Cantera Resort had 13 vehicles broken into. Restaurants and businesses need to start taking liability if they're going to start having bigger events and better security. I mean, that's just that's any big city. You're going to have that kind of stuff. It sucks. I mean, I lived in Houston for 10 years and had my car broken into, I think, 3 times. It's just that's part of
big city life.
That's part of big city living, man.
It is. And again, you're talking about out at La Cantera. The resort, you would – if that is true, and I haven't seen that.
I didn't either.
I mean, some of it's on security, but there are signs you're responsible. I mean, some stuff is going to happen, and I get that.
Don't leave stuff in your car. I mean, that's kind of like the go-to thing is.
Well, I mean,
that's why we have insurance.
Says the guy who's had his car broke into 3 times.
Yeah.
One of the times they literally got an iPhone charger. One time they got my wife.
There was a time iPhone chargers were valuable.
That's true.
Yeah.
My wife, unfortunately, was one of those ladies, and she stopped being one of those ladies after this, but she had a fancy diaper bag. Like, she had a Coach diaper bag.
Ah.
And so I was like, who steals a diaper bag? And she was like, oh, that's kind of an expensive diaper bag. I was like, oh, well, you're not having an expensive diaper bag anymore. But, you know.
She knows that your Pampers needed to be pampered.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so. All right, let's hit our last break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show the way we always do with the Daily Lines. I got to tell you guys about Manrique Custom Vision. If you are tired of wearing glasses, you're tired of wearing contacts, there's a fix for that. Manrique Custom Vision has the best technology in the game, blade-free, pain-free LASIK, totally safe, totally comfortable, and will give you the best possible vision without glasses or contacts. And Dr. Manrique has over 25 years of experience doing this. This number blew my mind. Over 72,000 laser vision corrections they've done at Manrique. And they offer financing up to 36 months, interest-free. So if you're saying, oh, I can't afford it, well, you can. It is an affordable thing now. As technology gets better, these things become more affordable. And listen, you think about all the money you spent on contact lenses over the years. Think about all the money you're spending on solution and those types of things. You don't have to fight that fight anymore. Give them a call today, 210-354-2020. Go check them out, man. See it for yourself. I went out to the shop there. It is a world-class organization, world-class technology. 210-354-2020. Come see the Manrique difference for yourself.
A lot of people argue that the best breed of dog is a lineage called the Rescue. They're right. That's why we're asking San Antonio Sports Star listeners to help no-kill rescue agencies around San Antonio with food that these pups need. They're all good dogs. They just need a chance. The voice of the National Dog Show, John O'Hurley, will join the Sports Star guys all day Friday, April 11th for the 2025 Puppy Food Bank Radiothon, sponsored by Thomas J. Henry, the Institute for Functional Health, Big State Financial, G-Defy Shoes, Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat and AC, Ponderosa Ranch, Mr. W Fireworks, and Fifi and Fido's Pet Boutique. So lend a helping paw during the 2025 Puppy Food Bank Radiothon, Friday, April 11th, with 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Join us for San Antonio's premier fiesta event, Taste of the Northside, presented by H-E-B, Thursday, May 1st at 6. Experience gourmet food and wine tastings, sip on elevated spirits and cold brews, and enjoy live entertainment at our new location, The Rock at La Cantera. All proceeds benefit Brighton Center, serving children with disabilities and developmental delays in San Antonio. Limited all-inclusive tickets are $300 in advance and can be purchased at tasteofthenorthside.org. Viva Fiesta!
Hey, fellow Gen Xers, it's Elizabeth Banks. Big news! The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the charge. After all, we gave the world the internet. We're trailblazers. Let's lead the way again because we are at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Head to vaxassist.com and schedule today. That's vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Texas coastal waterfront properties starting at only $49.9?
That's right. Driftwood Acres at Wolf Point, located on the highly sought-after Matagorda Bay, is extending their grand opening for one day, this Saturday. Book your private tour to see 1 to 3 acre properties, all with bay access, starting at just $49.9. Yes, just $49.9. This gated waterfront community features panoramic views, world-class fishing, resort-style pool and cabana, community fishing pier, boat and RV storage, and so much more. It's happening Saturday, April 12th, one day only. Coastal waterfront properties starting at an unbelievable $49.9. Just $49.9. Call to book your private tour or for information for this Saturday. 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Appointments are limited, so call now. 210-853-0389. Texas waterfront properties will never be more affordable. 210-853-0389.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news and stats to placing bets in just a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code JOEQ to get started today. That's JOEQ, Joe Q. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/sports.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
You know the Rue Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Rue Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Rue Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Rue.
Come on in to Total Wine & More. Prices much lower than a grocery store. Wine, beer for a whole lot less. Walking down the aisles makes you stop and say, yes! From mixing cocktails to a friendly get-together, Total Wine has everything you need, and more. With the lowest prices and best selection for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
This is Jason Minix. You're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You can do it. Put your back into it. I can do it. Put your ass into it. I can do it. Put your ass into it. Put your back into it. Put your ass into it. Oh, you know this song, right, Jason?
No.
Oh.
Not your version of it. That was awful.
All right. Oh. I'm the songbird of our generation. A lot of people have said that.
Dude, karaoke Tuesdays, man.
Yeah, it's a good day. Let's do what we always do to wrap up the show and take a look at the Daily Line.
It's the Morning Huddle's look at the Daily Lines with AJ and Rob on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You covered, yeah!
Well, college basketball's over. We got no more lines to talk about in college hoops, so the NBA exists now. The NBA back in action. They had 2 games yesterday that no one cared about. They said, let's save them. Let's save it for Wednesday. So we've got some decent games, although some of these games have wild numbers attached to them. I'm curious to get your thoughts on some of these, Jason. We'll start with the early game. The Hawks are at Orlando. Orlando is a 4.5-point favorite. Cavaliers, 12.5-point favorites hosting Chicago. Cavs not the juggernaut that they seemed like they were, I don't know, a month ago. Still pretty damn good, though, and the Bulls stink. So I'm not in the position to fade Cleveland just yet. How about the Memphis Grizzlies? I'm not sure if the Grizzlies are good, but the Grizzlies are 2-touchdown favorites on the road at Charlotte.
And again, have you seen the Indiana-Washington line?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, when you look at that, this time of year, though, it's so difficult because final week, you got teams that are ready for the beach, and you got others that are resting because they know they have the playoffs. You look at some of those lines, 18.5.
The Pacers aren't even good. I mean, they're East good, but they're not good.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to beat the Wizards by 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
Celtics are at the Knicks. The Knicks are 1.5-point favorites. I know Jalen Brunson's back. I have a theory that's worked all year long. If the Knicks are playing someone who's even kind of good, they lose. If they're playing a scrub team, they win by 20. That's what the Knicks do. The Knicks are they're bullies. They're lamb slayers. My guess is the Celtics smack them around tonight. I don't think the Knicks are that good. So I got the Celtics as dogs. I'll take that one all day. A battle of the Titans here. The New Orleans Pelicans are at the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets are 3-point favorites against the Pelicans, who I don't even know who plays for the Pelicans anymore. I think they've wrapped it up for the season. The Lakers at Oklahoma City. Now, the Lakers are kind of good. The Lakers are 14.5-point underdogs in OKC.
Have they announced nobody's playing?
I haven't heard that yet.
I no excuses, but, Final Four last night, I wasn't paying attention, and I haven't read anything
There's
yet
gotta
this
be
morning,
something.
right?
There's got to be something.
But also, the Lakers getting the victory lap from the media the other day for beating Oklahoma City in a game that doesn't matter to OKC because they've wrapped everything up. Maybe is it just because it's a revenge game, it's in OKC, so they expect Oklahoma City to come out and show the Lakers who's boss? I don't know. That's a strange line.
Here's what I'm seeing. Rui Hachimura out with injury/illness, left patellar/tendinopathy.
All right, so he's resting.
Maxi Kleber out, right foot surgery recovery. Now the questionables. Luka, right groin strain. Dorian Finney-Smith, left ankle. Bronny James, illness. LeBron James, left groin strain. Austin Reeves, right ankle sprain. Gabe Vincent, left knee.
So they're mailing it in.
It kind of seems that way. And they've got a back-to-back. They beat Oklahoma City on Sunday.
Yep.
That's awesome for them. Dallas is going to be their 5th game in 7 days tomorrow. It makes sense to rest, but yeesh, everybody at once.
Well, I mean, that's what they do. And, again, they got that win the other day. And, what a statement win by the Lakers.
Oh, yeah, they're suddenly back.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's 14.5. I got obviously if LeBron and Luka don't play, 14.5 makes a lot of sense. If one of them plays, that number is just insane. The Golden State Warriors are at Phoenix. Golden State minus 9.5 on the road. Phoenix, this is their last stand. If they want a chance to make the play-in, they got to win this one.
They're done.
I think they're done.
They're done.
Timberwolves are at the Bucks. Timberwolves minus 5.5 at Milwaukee. The Spurs, 12.5. 12.5 is your number. They are at the L.A. Clippers. Can the Spurs hang within 12.5 points of the Clippers, Jason?
No.
I don't think so either. The Clippers have been good lately.
Well, they have, and they've got something to play for. And unfortunately, that dude, who we don't say his name in this town, has been playing really good.
Out of his mind.
Which I'm down with, because this is what he does. He's going to play good towards the end of the regular season, then shut it down for the postseason. That's his MO.
Well, that is a guy with 2 rings.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done some things in the postseason.
Sure.
The good news is, if you are a Kawhi hater, is James Harden's on that team, and he's done nothing. he'll bring you down, Bubba. Just to speak to the line on the Lakers Thunder tonight, the Lakers are 14.5-point dogs tonight. On the road tomorrow at Dallas, they're 5-point favorites. Kind of lets you know what's going on.
Yeah, they're resting everybody.
What an exciting thing for the fans of OKC. All right, Major League Baseball. Carlos Carrasco and the Yankees are at Tarek Skubal and the Tigers. Yankees not as strong as people thought maybe. Scoobly Doobly, my guy, and the Tigers, they're minus 160 hosting the Yankees today. The Marlins go to the Mets. Connor Gillespie at Clay Holmes for the Mets. The Mets minus 285. Yikes. I don't know if the Mets should be minus 285 against anybody, but hey, it's your money, not mine. Chicago White Sox in Shane Smith. I've seen the Shane Smith pitch. I'm kind of impressed with him. It makes me kind of want to bet on the White Sox today. I know it's probably a fool's errand, but they are plus 170 at the Guardians. Guardians minus 205 with Ben Lively. Shane Smith throws his changeup is about 5 miles an hour slower than his fastball, which is incredible. And you can't really tell which pitch is coming, so he's making some guys miss badly on his changeup. It's really fun to watch. It's the only fun thing to watch about the Chicago White Sox as far as I'm concerned.
Although I don't know about putting money on the Sox, but the over-under at 7.5 runs, I think the over there is probably in play.
Quite possibly. Yeah. Sonny Gray and the Cardinals are at Paul Skeens and the Pirates. I refuse to bet on the Pirates on Paul Skeens Day. The Pirates are minus 135. And Paul Skeens is really good. Don't get me wrong. The rest of the team sucks. You can't convince me they should be favored in all these games that Paul Skeens pitched. At minimum, they should be like a pick'em, because maybe he doesn't give up the 4 runs, but the Pirates are never going to score 4 runs. So, I don't know. I always think there's bad value on Paul Skeens. Justin Robleski pitches for the Dodgers today against Brad Oh My Lord and the Washington Nationals. Robleski minus 175 for the Dodgers, even though the Dodgers lost again to the Nationals. They went to the White House yesterday, and they got the White House curse. It's almost like the Ted Cruz curse, apparently, because the Dodgers they shake hands with the president, and then they lose to the Nationals. Gross. Easton Lucas and the Blue Jays are at Boston. Garrett Crochet, or Garrett Crotchet, depending on how he feels that day. Red Sox minus 205. Angels and Kyle Hendricks are at the Rays with Shane Baz. Rays minus 175. Zach Wheeler and the Phillies minus 105 at the Braves. Chris Sale going for Atlanta minus 115. Twins at the Royals. Pablo Lopez and Cole Reagans. The Royals minus 120 there. It's Patrick Corbin Day. Oh, my God. I don't know if you are aware of this, Jason. Patrick Corbin Day is the most profitable day of the week, usually. The way it works is simple. When Patrick Corbin pitches, you bet on the other team, and you get free money.
Oh, really?
Yes. It has worked for 2 years in a row, and I remember thinking, he's been pitching for the Nationals, and I remember thinking last year, the last Patrick Corbin Day, I said, well, gravy train's done. His contract's up. There's no way another team's going to sign him. Here come the Texas Rangers to sign Patrick Corbin. They go against the Chicago Cubs today. Jamison Tyone and the Cubs minus 155. I will be on the Chicago Cubs today to celebrate Patrick Corbin Day.
And didn't the Cubs
They beat them
the
7-0
Rangers
yesterday.
They got a whole touch. Yeah.
Yeah. They'll get a touchdown today against Patrick Corbin. Patrick Corbin, he's like, he gives up touchdowns, baby.
Good.
He gives them up.
Yeah.
Freddie Peralta and the Brew Crew are at Colorado. Brewers minus 160 on the road. Charlie effing Morton is at Arizona. Merrill Kelly going for the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks minus 120. Astros, no announced pitcher yet.
Fromber.
Is it Fromber?
Fromber's going tonight.
I thought it was I thought he was questionable, but maybe.
Well, I mean, on ESPN they've got him listed.
Well, if that's the case, then maybe there's value on the Astros. They're minus 110 at the Seattle Mariners. Luis Castillo going for the Mariners. Although the Astros got a hit at some point. It's nice. Fromber's going to shut them down, but you got to hit. The total's 7. Means you got to get 4 of them. We'll see. They lost 4-3 yesterday to this same Mariners squad. Nick Lodolo and the Reds are at San Francisco. Landon Roop going for the Giants. Giants minus 135. Did I say Ginas? Minus 135?
That's something.
Yeah.
My bad.
You're sleepy.
Ginas. And Dylan Cease and the Padres minus 135. They are at Sacramento. The Sacramento Athletics. Jeffrey Springs goes for the A's. Padres minus 135 on the road. Well, friends, we did it, Vic. Jason came in and saved the day.
Yeah, he did.
My voice was going out. I was about to bring that stray cat in from outside and put it on the microphone and just let him.
Big balls.
Are we not doing hockey lines?
We don't have time now.
We got
do
plenty
hockey
of time.
if we got.
I mean, the Devils and Bruins. This is a big game tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a big game.
Well,
no, the Bruins stink.
I mean, but the Devils need to officially clinch a playoff spot.
Oh, okay.
We know they're going, but they need to officially clinch.
In important news, the Golden Knights are at the Avalanche, and the Knights are dogs, plus 115 dogs at Colorado. Go Knights, go!
That's an ESPN game that you'll sleep through tonight.
I have to sleep tonight. There's no way I'm gonna. It's
Stars are playing the
a
Canucks.
9 o'clock game. Dude, we got to stop. We got to stop starting sporting events so late. The Final Four, the championship
All of a sudden,
game,
you're becoming a grandma.
starting at 8 o'clock. Think of the kids in Florida who couldn't stay up to watch the end of the game because they had a school night.
No, those kids are fine. Those kids are fine.
They're getting a bad education now, not because they live in Florida.
Yeah, I was going to say. And what's different?
All right, friends, that'll do it for us. Thanks to Jason for filling in for the last hour. Thanks to Vic for soldiering through. No thanks to Rob for bailing on me at 3:30 in the morning. Blitz coming up at 2. They got a hell of a show planned for you. We'll see you tomorrow.